a matchup.
And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
Blog Talk Radio.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order.
The world is coming to a beginning, but before that, it's coming to a big ending. The whole planet has changed from hours of youth. Lives in the front lane, it's time for the truth. Police are on their training day like the role of Denzel. Living in these times of drones and chemtrails. Can you feel it? Nothing could save ya, cause this is the season you catching the vapors of gun smokes from pigs' guns when they murder sons. My eyes burning my hand from the tear gas of Ferguson. And I wasn't even there, but who cares? Cause in reality, this is happening everywhere. Time to fight back and be a man, or you'll be forced to when they put y'all in them FEMA camps. It's clear to see the necks of these races get redder, so prepare for the worst, pray it gets better. So if you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know. Welcome to the if you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know, now you know. If you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know, now you know. The devil's favorite instrument was playing with your heart, but he switched that up now. He's playing with the harp, controlling the weather, hurricanes and earthquakes. Microchipping your baby straight out the womb on the first day. Planned Parenthood was made to get rid of blacks. Slavery mentality is hard to get rid of that. They want to depopulate the earth, is true. So they pay Monsanto to poison the food. Fighting illegal aliens, controlling the borders. Meanwhile in Detroit, they cutting off the water. New world order will cost you all, and you'll feel it when they bring in that martial law. And if you don't come in by sundown, you get gunned down. No more club hopping, no more fun now. Moving without permission, walking about. 30 years ago, these were the days that we were talking about. If you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know, now you know. If you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, if you don't know, if you don't know, now you know, now you know. Don't you notice the RCNI is all green? Everything they got they sight on is all cream. They use drugs to make zombies, that's all fiends. Replace dope boys on the corners with Walgreens. 24-hour drug spot, it's not hard to see. Illegal becomes legal when they change it to pharmacy. I guess it's okay, go to college, be a pharmacist. Known drug seller, legally bringing harm to us. It's easy to bring disease that forms disease. Wake up, we're in a deep sleep with disease. For so long, they've been trying to control ya. Kill you with syphilis, AIDS, now it's Ebola. They love it when black bodies fill up the morgues, and during the autopsies they stealing your organs. And while you getting angry, I just stay calmer. I ain't worried about Jack, cause my mama is calmer. If you don't know, if you don't know,
oh yeah, now you know. If you don't know, you are on the right program to know. Welcome again to the Helios Biblios Hour, Book of the Sun. And we shining bright in the MIA all day, and we're looking forward to all you across the 10 regions. We have a program that is so timely. It just connects with all the rest of the programs that we just had. But today we got a special guest. And also, not just a guest, somebody I had a personally opportunity to meet on numerous occasions, and have to say he has elevated the game as filmmaker, and today's program is dedicated to those of you who love sci-fi, science fiction, but today's program is called Science Fact, or Is It Fiction? With my man, and special guest, Jeff Carroll, film producer, writer, lecturer, and motivator, speaker for many of those of you in the South Florida area who recognize them. Looking forward to hearing you on the lines later on the program. Last week we got cut off, so jump in now, everybody, because they are under the control mechanism ever since Mark Zuckerberg just went down. I told y'all, net neutrality. They will be monitoring these internet, social media, chat rooms. Everything is under surveillance. So that's part of the sci-fi science fiction. See, we've been telling you for years, bond years, just like I say, if you don't know, now you know. Special shout out last week to all you who joined us on the program. Oh, wonderful program. Thank you, Sister Antoinette, for who was motivational in that program of the 32 technologies that are now taking over your privacy. And so, these technologies are coming from what? Some of the best sci-fi writers in the world. And we're going to talk, some of mine, I'm going to tell you straight up, Jules Verne. Y'all remember Jules Verne? Oh my goodness, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. And just amazing. Captain Nemo, H.G. Wells. Y'all know some of the good ones, y'all. Edgar Allan Poe. I know y'all might not know him, but The Raven with Vincent Price. Frankenstein sci-fi, Mary Shelley, who is actually the modern day movie for Prometheus, was actually Frankenstein, the concept. And that was written in the 1800s. Most of these writers are 1800 writers. We're going to get up into the 2018 where we got my man Jeff Carroll now taking over the mantle of now a new age Afrofuturistic, maybe saying the futuristic, the Afrofuturistic. And guess what? We even got a prize for some of you who don't need. I'm gonna ask y'all. It's a character in our history who wrote a sci-fi movie, a sci-fi book. Well, no movies back then, but sci-fi book, and how he would know. Very well known in the civil rights beginning. I'm some put right there. We're gonna bring that up later on. And all our gifts come from Empress Abode. Oh my goodness! Have y'all drunk that tea and that soap and all the other natural products that she produces through the love and care up there in the Jacksonville area? Much love to you, sister. Keep doing what you're doing. And we will stand behind what you produce because we know it's quality is what we seek. Now, let's get back into where we at today. Oh my goodness. They got the young kids out there today with the gun control. I tell everybody, gun control, serious. That's part of sci-fi. You ever see the sci-fi movies what they got now? Where they, the V, where all guns are being taken by the aliens. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But we'll soon find out how crazy it really is. The gentleman that we have today coming on, again, can't say enough about him. He's going to be with us. I'm going to bring him in at almost the bottom of the hour. We'll be bringing my man Jeff Carroll in. But I just want to set the stage for those of you who are actually sci-fi lovers. Actually, those of you on Facebook, go to Facebook Live to Jeff Carroll, Facebook Live. He should be on. Those of you who want to watch our guest, he is on Facebook Live, waiting to meet you and talk to you. Antoinette, I hope you with us. My sister Antoinette, let me just say again, Antoinette shows on Wednesday. Unfortunately, the Northeast received a snowstorm, and she's on the Northeast. She's up in Delaware, and she was not able to perform her station on Wednesday at 9. She put a pre-recording in, and thanks to her, y'all was able to hear something. But much shout out to those of you who have suffered through that storm up there in the Northeast. I've been there. You know how it is in the Buffalo, Below area, New York City. Much love to you. Philadelphia, much love. And Chi-Town, we'll be getting into you later on as the program go on. I know you got a lot to say up there in Chi-Town in the 5. All right, now, if you had not heard Antoinette's show, please go on Wednesday. I'm sure she's doing something this Wednesday, and with Brother Eddie with the numbers. Remember, this is the talk where facts matters, and this is the talk where esoteric, allegoric, and history comes together at the same time. We bring it all to you at the same time. So join her and her guests on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you know the number, 515-605-9343 for those you want to get in. But now, it is now the time for y'all to get your pens, your pencils, your pad, because I put something together that is outrageous. Many of you have heard some of the writers. I mean, Orson Welles, y'all heard of him. Today we got Cameron. We got Abram, all the Star Trek. Man, we got the old Star Trek. Y'all remember the old Star Trek? How many of y'all was Trekkies? I know I was. Anybody who know me growing up know we had Spock outfit. We had the Spock suit. I was doing the Vulcan nerve pinch, not knowing that's a Masonic grip. Did not know that put you out. We didn't know that those writers of all the sci-fi that we think, do you know they all were Masonic writers? Sci-fi deals with the occult. One of the biggest that many people do not know, and today still has a lot of effects. And it's hard to say, but it's very true. He was a sci-fi writer of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard. And our guest brought him up in one of his, he does a lot of his information. He goes out and about to different venues across the country and sci-fi tech shows. They're all over the place, Vegas, everywhere. So people are actually participating in science fiction, but it's not fiction, or is it? Or is it fact? But L. Ron Hubbard, very interesting. Come to find out a lot about him, those of you, because we talked about this before. L. Ron Hubbard was with no other than the Beast. You say, who the Beast? Aleister Crowley. Him and Aleister Crowley was friends. Did you know that? If you didn't, that's the facts. This is the talk where facts matters. And Aleister Crowley was major in the occult world. Major. So there's a lot going on there. We'll be getting to that shortly. Scientology. The Minister of Islam, Minister Farrakhan, joins in with this founder, and I do have a clip of him later on I'm going to play that is fascinating. Now, how many of y'all know L. Ron Hubbard in 1960s went to South Africa and predicted exactly what was going to take place 50 years ago? 50 years ago, and to this day, South Africa, on the Julius Malema. Yeah, I had him. You heard the clip I played on this past programs, where he's talking about taking white folks out of South Africa. Now, would he be able to do it? This is just a party representative, but wait till you hear L. Ron Hubbard's prediction on South Africa and the Negro in America. You will be surprised. We bring up all the facts today, so we got a lot going on. But let's talk a little bit to get us into this program. Those of you who was into Star Trek, how many of y'all knew that Abrams and all the writers for the Star Treks were actually showing you the Cold War? They were actually showing you, of course, Captain Kirk and Spock was on the United Starship, which is actually a federation. Those of you who don't believe me, go to Galactic Federation, and you will see that they have an ambassador for space right now at the UN. Ain't that strange? Is that science fiction or is that fact? How many of you realize that Captain Kirk and all them represented what was going on today? Actually, Trump looked like Kirk. Put a Starship shoot on it with a phaser, yeah. And the Klingons was actually the Russian Empire. Oh yeah. The autocratic kingdom empire. They were warlike. United Federation of Planets. Y'all remember that? It was called the representative of the Democratic United Federation of Planets. Ain't that something? They were held together by a truce with the warlike, autocratic Klingon Empire. Boy, ain't it funny how things just seem to come right together. So a lot of this that we've been seeing, phasers. Remember phasers, everybody, from Star Trek? Ain't a dream no more. They got phasers. Only thing they don't really have that we don't know about is the galactic travel. Now, is something coming in from the Earth? I know some of the ancient writings that many of these science fiction writers were Egyptologists. into the occult of Egypt. From India, the Vedas, the Book of the Wars, many of them have read. Many of them are with societies that we've done in this program. Y'all know what we're talking about. They're with societies, secret societies. The man who made Eyes Wide Shut. For some strange reason, after he produced that movie, he ended up dead. Stanley Kubrick, y'all heard of him? You know, Space Odyssey. Ain't that strange? Ain't same Odyssey that he produced in that book and his movie is the same ship they claim they got orbiting out there in space now, like a wheel. Is that science fiction or science fact? We're going to ask ourselves today with our man and our own sci-fi writer, and I got a chance to see his first movie. I want y'all to know that. Let me just give you a little brief rundown on my man Jeff Carroll so y'all understand. He's a filmmaker and writer. At his core, he is an activist. His writings have social messages. He has written both in nonfiction and fiction. And he has a little aberration about L. Ron Hubbard, which we will get into in a minute, because he hopes to write so well that it would change the behavior of people. That's a deep thing, the behavior of people. He has written a hip-hop dating guide. I like that one. But the movie I seen was his first one, was Gold Digger Killer, which was actually a horror flick. He'll get into that. He does horror. He does apocalyptic. And he does zombie movies that he have out. He also has a lot of, I would say, he goes to a lot of what I consider schools and get involved with the young people. He does a great job of that. And he makes his life, what I can see, and what others tell me, and which we all should be able to see, a light for others, that we can do it as well. So look forward to him coming on shortly. He's also been a part of Hacker Shit Freak Quarterly magazine. He has a Hacker Source magazine and the Black Science Fiction Society of Genesis magazine. So we'll be getting to all that because black people got a lot of sci-fi in them. Oh, yes, ever since the Dogon. How you think they seen Sirius B? Ain't that what Spock and them said? That they came out of Sirius in Star Trek? It was calling it Sirius B. They were going through. Even Alpha Centauri, Lost in Space. Y'all remember that? The robot. Now we got robots. We got robots that we can even fuck. And that's amazing. We went from looking at bulky, ugly robots to sex robots. In a matter of how long, everybody? Within 50 years, which is the Masonic equivalent of control of all five senses. So if they do something in ages of 50, that means control mechanisms are being placed. Now, how did these sci-fi writers know this? That's the question I want to ask everybody. And one of the most prolific ones that I must admit to, and I must say, Metropolis, the one that was written and put together as a movie in 1927 with Fitz Lang. That movie was a Masonic occult movie because he was one. And if you've ever seen that movie, it's in black and white. You can go to YouTube and watch it, amongst others. That movie actually is what every female rap artist that is big, from y'all know who, Lady Gaga, you got her doing Madonna, Beyonce, the little fine little one, the Michelle. She ain't got many songs, but she's in everything. She's also represented this movie. And this movie represents a lot about controlling of society. And that's where we are, everybody. So what I want to do is set the mood for everybody. Today you will hear from prolific as well as modern day sci-fi writers. I have some of the best that I want you to hear. But I'm going to start with the one that I know everybody should want to know about, because he has a whole group of black people who have actually changed taken on the theology of one of the most prolific sci-fi writers of this time. No other than the one they call the Scientology man. It's strange to know how many people do not realize that they are under the philosophy of L. Ron Hubbard. This is a rare, hardly ever heard, hardly no hits from L. Ron Hubbard in 1960 in South Africa, explaining to his congregation what he had seen and how he reported back to the CIA.
L. Ron Hubbard to delegates at the Anatomy of the Human Mind Congress on the 31st of December 1960. The title of this lecture is A Talk on South Africa.
I have been down in the most controversial country on earth today, which is South Africa. Would you like to hear a little something about South Africa? Okay, buddies. Now, these chaps here are Africans. They have a mission. They want to dance. About the best you can say for that. But as soon as they get their vote, it'll all be different. It'll all be different. Then they can dance. Asked one of them one day, I said, would you like a vote? And he says, no. And I said, oh, come on, you certainly want a vote. And he said, no. And I said, well, why don't you want to vote? He said, well, me buy sunglasses from an American last year, and he get gypped. Okay, buddy. There's one of the new magistrates that they'll elect when they finally get the vote. Probably require that the court be paid 2 skulls or something of the sort. Okay, bye. The other day, by the way, there was a information pamphlet came out by the government of Borneo which told people to be nice to their snakes. Snakes don't like to be pointed at, and they don't like to be yelled at or stamped at, so please don't bother their snakes. Go ahead, son. Right now you tell me, well, the government of South Africa does not permit the black man a vote. You don't even know what a vote is. What do you want, another Congo? Now look, I'm just a Yank. I'm not expected to be an authority on South Africa, and yet I've become one in Johannesburg to fight South Africans because they themselves haven't bothered to inform themselves of what's going on with the government. Doesn't that sound wild? The communist message to the world is all you have to do is get the European out of Africa, and there will be total peace, and it will be okay in Africa. What happened when the Belgians left the Congo? Well, that's what will happen throughout Africa. All development and advance of any kind whatsoever will be stopped if the European is driven out of Africa. You can count it. He's divided into 2 classes. He's the city Bantu, and he is the Aboriginal tribesman. And the Aboriginal tribesman is being brought up as fast as he can be brought up to some semblance of order. But he hates other tribes to such a degree that it is always a worry and an upset trying to keep them from killing each other off. That has been the history of South Africa. The blacks kill off the blacks. The blacks kill off the blacks. And all you've got to do is pull a stable government off the top of them, and they promptly start killing each other off. Factually, the Bantu is not like the American black man, and you can't understand anything about the Bantu by understanding anything about the American black man. The American black man, in the first place, has been mixed with Indian and white blood over a period of a couple of centuries or less, but has actually been in close proximity to the white man and white man's civilization for a century or 2, you see? But this is a different breed of cat. Do you know that the Bantu peoples were not conquered by the South Africans until the slaying of Dingaan in about 1879 or thereabouts. And only then a few of them became associated to any great degree with the whites. The Bantu is the wild man down there. The early associate of the South African was the Hottentot and the Bushman, not the Bantu. The Bantu is not indigenous to the area, but comes down from Central Africa. Now, these sentiments are not particularly welcome to people. But I only call to your attention that I'm only telling you what I myself have observed, having been given ample opportunity to observe it, and I am giving you nothing but what I am myself have observed, and not anything anybody has told me. It's what I myself have seen. I have also seen people in South Africa who themselves had not had energy enough to go out and look at anything, and who themselves had totally erroneous opinions concerning what was going on in the country. I have listened to some of the wildest tales from South Africans you ever wanted to hear about what was going on. They themselves didn't know. And I myself have in the odd position, that's when Director of Security down there says, "Come home, Yank." He's just mirroring the fact that in any gathering of South Africans, when they want to know what's going on in the government, they ask me.
That was L. Ron Hubbard, everybody, the prolific sci-fi writer, visionist, who created what is called Scientology, that is now in the mindset of many of the Nation of Islam, brought in by Minister Louis Farrakhan. You just heard what this man said about Africa in 1960. Do you believe in 2018 they are now talking about driving out the Europeans? And he said it will be bloodshed. I don't know, but it's sure, when I do the research over what's going on, it is a lot of killing going on in those areas. So is this man a visionist, an operative? That's what Sci-Fi keeps us all alluding to. Many of the people today do not know what Sci-Fi is. Since its inception, we have so many opinions, but today all that opinionation, we're going to put it to rest and have some facts with one and only somebody who deals with it on a daily basis, filmmaker, writer, Jeff Carroll, bringing in his point of view. We have a chance. Those of you on the internet, we will be bringing you in. If you want to get on the conversation within the next, let's just say next hour, do so. But we will be bringing in my guest and good friend to the program, Jeff Carroll, right after what they call it, a commercial. Commercial means capitalism information. All right, thank you.
Welcome to the Helios Biblios Hour. Do you have a business, or are you looking to reach more people to sell your products to on a radio show? Well, then look no further, because here on Dry Bones Connection, where we're offering commercial ads on the air every Sunday from 10 o'clock in the morning until 12 noon during the Helios Biblios Hour. Our mission is to create an opportunity that allows us to help one another. So, we are offering a 30 to 60 second commercial ad for just $5 and a 61 to 120 second commercial ad for just $10 per month. To send us your commercial, it must be pre-recorded on MP3 or higher or uploaded to YouTube. And your commercial ad will air 2 or more times per month. If you need help with recording your commercial, we offer a one-time setup fee of $20 plus your monthly ad fee. To send your commercial request via email, do so to drybones7@hotmail.com. Let's repeat that, drybones7@hotmail.com. And in your subject line, type commercial ad. We thank you and invite you to continue to listen to our broadcast. And if interested in previous shows, please go online to www.drybonesconnections.com.
And you can go to Twitter and liking all the rest of you who are joining us on all social medias. This brother can be seen on Facebook as we speak right now. That's Jeff Carroll, good friend of the program, good friend of many of the people in South Florida. Just want to say to him before we bring him in, get your phone clear, brother. Get your phone clear.
Yeah,
I see you out there.
Can you hear me?
And I hear you good. Can you hear me? I hear a little bit of echo. I hear you real well.
Okay, you good. All right, good.
All right. For those of you, I'm going to bring you what y'all asked for. Y'all say I like sci-fi. Well, we have made it another promise that now is a fact. The most prolific filmmaker here in South Florida is on our line. No other than our man, Jeff Carroll, man. Appreciate you, man. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm glad to have you on, man. It's such an important show because I'm from New York, and we used to have a lot of shows that dealt with the real information, and there are not too many of you guys on. So it's good to have shows like yours on the airwaves, and now with Blog Talk, you're global, so it's even better than what we used to have. So that's a good thing, man. You know, the revolution will be televised, broadcast, and now we can say live stream.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's definitely live stream. And let me just ask you, man, I know you've been doing a lot of projects. Me and you have, for this media that we have here, I'm still able to see what you're doing, and you as well, because we live a little distance in here in the South Florida area. But nonetheless, it's awesome how this technology has advanced itself, and this gives the people a little bit of how that has done it in your vision of with sci-fi, being how it seems to have a scientific reality.
Well, I like to give examples, and for people that are checking me out on Facebook, I get to hold up the actual book covers. But
there you go.
2 years ago, well, more than 2 years ago, about 7-8 years ago, they started these Black science fiction groups online. Black Science Fiction Society. Now they have State of Black Science Fiction, which is a very big one, and it allowed the writers to come together and speculate on things that they were speculating about together, not with just your friends. You got to socialize and share your ideas with other people who were open to speculating, because a science fiction writer is a speculator who wants to share their speculation. That's really all it is. We've got to, all writers are people who have stories they want to tell. It's just that a sci-fi writer speculates about the future or some other interpretation of the past or even some other interpretation of the present, and speculates about it in a story and shares that story. So
now that's a deep word. That's
okay,
what you just said. Speculate, because in the call world of those who are listening, it's called speculative and operative. Now, when you finish that comment you're gonna make, I want to ask you how they can make these speculative aspects turn into reality, because a lot of sci-fi writers that have spoken in the past, their reality is actually manifest.
Well, I'll give you an example on that, and I've done that. I don't take full credit for it, because when you understand how I've done it, I just played my role in it being done, okay?
Yeah,
but
right.
The State of Black Sci-Fi, when you talk about what technology did, technology not only brought you and me together, but it brought Black sci-fi writers from across the globe together. And what we decided to do was like, hey, we all want to speculate about the future. We all been talking about this black lady who was involved in the Matrix movie and cyberpunk in this futuristic world. Well, one of the founders, Milton Davis, put together a universe. He masterminded, and he came up with a universe called The City. And he chose a few writers from all parts of the world, country, world, and they all came together and wrote short stories under one collective umbrella, and that is the book called The City. And this is a book that would not have been able to be done if it wasn't for social media. And he's done this quite a few times, but many of them have just been anthology calls. When he did The City, he actually put together a universe, creatures, and a planet that he thought of, and then I happen to have a story in there, and 17 other writers, so it's 18 writers all around the world wrote a book together, and this is called The City. It's available on his website and, of course, Barnes & Nobles and Amazon. But when you talk about something black, amazing. This would not have been done if it wasn't for the internet and social media, only because we can't afford to go to a conference together. And that's what happened years before the first black science fiction convention. So social media jump-started even the draw, whereas before, you talk about L. Ron Hubbard, you talk about Gene Roddenberry and Robert Heinlein, Jules Verne, all those pioneers, they had organizational meetings. They have the National Science Fiction Society, and these organizations have been having meetings. Well, we were able to put something together without even having a physical, like I haven't even met all the writers in the book that I'm in there with. And we all wrote with the same name of the city, the same creatures, the same neighborhood, the same, everything is similar. We have different characters, of course, because we wrote different stories, but we all take place in the same universe.
Well, let me just say this now. We got you on that. Me being happy, I hope you know, we have known each other over 15 years.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Very. And we met
I'm still alive to talk about it. That's good.
And we had some good funny, and we all had some great debates of all kinds. But I remember this particular social movie that you came out with, which was Gold Digger Killer. And at the time, it actually could be remade. It put like Angela Bassett and some other people were there. I'm telling you, going to the club and somebody psyched out and get hurt by their man and go berserk. How did you get that concept? That was your first movie. I remember we seen it too. We seen it at the Seminole Hour.
I tell you, one thing I like about Star Trek, and I argue this with Star Trekkies all over, and I go to Star Trek conventions, I argue what is the number one science in Star Trek? Whether it is engineering with the warp drive, whether it is the technology of the tricorder or the communicator, or is it the transporter? And I argue that the number one science in Star Trek is social, and that is how we relate to all of these different species. Not only the analogies they put out there with like the half black, half white person, but the analogy, just the landing on a planet that is run by a mob book instead of the Bible. Those different things. So in that tradition, me being an appreciator of Star Trek and social science in terms of science-fictional speculation, I came up with Gold Digger Killer. I'm trying to show it on Facebook. But Gold Digger Killer. And actually, Gold Digger Killer was my second movie. My partner, Stanley Miron, and I, through my company, Red, Black, and Green, were putting all of these comedians like J.B. Smoove, well, not really J.B. Smoove, but Michael Blackson. I haven't worked with J.B. Smoove and Kevin Hart, but
I remember.
Some of the ones that I have more connection with, like Michael Blackson, we've been trying to get them in the movies. And we were sending them the movies, and some of the movies was garbage. And I was like, oh, my God, how we can do better than garbage. Some of these movies that they were in were really corny. And I did my first movie was called Howl If I Kill You. And let me show that. Howl If I Kill You, right? And that did very well. It was about a comedian who had a nervous breakdown and goes on a murderous killing spree, although you find out he's not the killer and you don't know who really the killer is. But Gold Digger Killer came.
Well, don't tell everything. Make them get it.
No. I've been pitching Gold Digger Killer for over 15 years. So we made it in 2004. So
I remember.
So what happened was this is the story, and it's probably somewhere on the internet. Oh, what's up, Salam? It's my man is on Facebook. But what happened was I had my first heartbreak at like 28, 29 years old. And
wow.
I always been a good guy. Yo, yeah, man, I was old. I didn't even have a lot of girlfriends because, you know, if I dated you, I was thinking about marrying you, you know, and I wasn't big on booty calls or none of that, you know. So if I dated you, I was thinking that far in the future. So it just so happened that I dated a girl that was used to different type of boyfriends. And I had worked, I had receipts. I was never a street hustler. You know what I'm saying? I hustled, but I hustled legal jobs and entrepreneurial ideas. And during the relationship, I kind of felt unappreciated. And I felt I was worth a little bit more than that, you know? So I decided we need to part ways. And after I broke up with her, she ended up talking to me and said, yo, you can't call me anymore. I have a new boyfriend who's changed my phone number. He's paying my child's tuition. He's paying my rent. And we're going on vacation. And I was like, golly. I was like, how bad of a boyfriend was I? You hit the lottery. Like right after me, I was like, dang, whoa.
That's a hell of a story. I'm sure that story's been played about 100,000 times right now.
Oh man, so that'll throw a good guy into some recalculation. A month later, after I broke up, I met my wife. A year later, I ended up getting married, and I started thinking about this young lady. And I was like, you know, this was a tragic situation for me, but dang, I don't think she's in a good situation either. And around that time, Lorena Bobbitt came out, and she went crazy on a dude that cheated on her, and she cut his penis off. She cut his manhood off and say, all right, cheat now, you know. And she said, I could trust you with your dick in my hand, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, that movie scared me, man. I'm telling you, that was a horrifying. Now, just think if we could do it replay now with the technology. Oh my goodness, they would have the clubs would be empty. The clubs would be empty on Friday.
I mean, to tell you the truth, Dorian, that was my goal altogether. My goal was to scare anybody that was going to be disrespectful to women, because as a nice guy, I felt that all of the baggage that women had and were putting me through was not anything I had to do or cause, but it was the cause of players. And I was like, well, you know, we tell these young men all the time, respect the girl, respect your wife, and they still step out on their wives, they step out on their girlfriends. So I said, well, maybe if they get scared that the chick will have a nervous breakdown instead of, you know, stressing out, becoming a lesbian, shutting down, going celibate, or, you know, just being abstinent for a while.
Causing all kind of social effects.
You know, so I said, instead of them doing all of that, what if they go street sister and start cutting off Johnson?
Yeah, man, and I hear you. And I'm gonna tell you, you know, I told you, you know, I met your lovely Fabian. At that time, we had a little joke. I said, the lovely lady, she had must have been inspiration to you in that movie, because I'm telling you, when I see it was funny too, funny and with a social context to it. Let's go next to you made some other ones, and that was a very one that, if you're trying to raise a kid, everybody, or a son, or daughter, check that movie out, because it's being played at a higher level today. And I want somebody who just called me, and thank you, Antoinette, for the news cut. Did y'all know that many of our kids are disappearing in St. Louis? Go look this up. This is a fact. You know how our program is, everybody who listens to us. We might come out of some serious facts on you, man. That's happening. So maybe we need to teach our kids and our children. Some of y'all got a different dialect. I can't say kids to some of y'all, but our offspring that many of us have created. We need to take a look at what they dating, who they dating, because they having what I consider procreation, which is cloning, which is science. So that was a deep film there for for kids to go see. Now let's get a little bit more into this sci-fi thing, because I know you mentioned L. Ron Hubbard. Now you see how far L. Ron Hubbard has come with Scientology. Who would think the Nation of Islam would be actually following L. Ron Hubbard?
Well, you know what it is? I don't know where that came from. All I know is we are vessels, right, for a whole lot of things to come through. Not just demons and stuff like that, but sometimes good stuff. And all our job is to be able to channel that and express it in a way that other people can get it. So when I look at somebody like L. Ron Hubbard or what he tried to do, I first got turned on to L. Ron Hubbard not because of Battlefield Earth, which I thought was a garbage movie, but I started learning about, I was a dating coach. I became a dating coach after Gold Digger Killer came out. And I started learning, I read Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. Right. And in Dale Carnegie's book, I learned he used to hang out with L. Ron Hubbard. He used to hang out with a whole lot of big people at the time. And I was like, yeah, well, he's hanging out with L. Ron Hubbard, and L. Ron Hubbard is the Scientology guy. Who else is L. Ron Hubbard? I started looking at who L. Ron Hubbard was, and L. Ron Hubbard was a prolific writer. He is he's like Bill Russell is the basketball. Exactly. You know how everybody debates whether LeBron James or Michael Jordan is the best? They may even slip in there Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but they never mention Bill Russell because he got like 11 rings, and there's no way anybody's going to get that many rings. If they play basketball, would lose money. So they would always stack a team up to stop somebody from getting more than 6 rings. It just wouldn't be, people would stop watching basketball. So anyway, L. Ron Hubbard wrote over 200 science fiction books. He was spitting them out left and right. I don't even know if he wrote them. He might have had people writing books for him, with his ideas and putting his name on it. Either way, they were all from his particular theology. He started learning how to put things. He learned the power of being a griot. People talk about how Africans didn't have written books all the time, and that's because we had a griot who told us our history. Whatever spin they took on it, nobody debated them. They just took their word for it and said, yo, you come from this tribe. Your grandfather was this. Your great-grandfather was this. And your tribe did this. And you ran with it. Now, whether that was 100% accurate, it was what we needed at that particular time. And it influenced people. Yes, go ahead.
Let me ask you about because you heard it. I don't know if you got a chance to hear L. Ron Hubbard talk about South Africa, but it's very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. And his perspective on us, even here in the West. That's why I say on this program, so we bring all the facts together so we can get a good analytical look, because these people look at things in 50-year progressions. 100-year progressions. Like you said, you thought about a wife. That's probably a 10-year progression that you're thinking about a wife so early in life. So it's like everybody got these progression systems. But when you see these progression systems actually come to fruition, we got to wonder and analyze where they're getting this information to be able to be that accurate. I mean, that's 50 years ago. And today, South Africa's talking about getting rid of white people.
Well,
right to this day. Right to today. It's unbelievable. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You look at science fiction and you look at speculation. What white folks do and what a lot of people do who are not respectful of multiculturalism is they see everybody in a reflection of themselves. Now, fortunately, black people, we already know we behave different than white people, and some of us don't know that. So when we look at other people, we see that they can behave in a variety of ways. L. Ron Hubbard and a lot of white people, especially spy writers, they don't see other people in necessarily a variety of ways. They see other people as a reflection of themselves. That's why science fiction movies, aliens always come to bring death, domination, and destruction. That's because that's what they brought when they traveled to Earth. everywhere they went, they were like, these people are not strong as us. We will take over. They, we will make them work for us. So that's what they see. When you see Asian space stories, Asians sometimes meet with friends. Sometimes they can fight them off. Sometimes they make they interrelate with them. They're not always bringing death, domination, and destruction. And now when you look in the black sci-fi world, we have a variety of interpretations of people from other places in other space. So, what I saw L. Ron Hubbard doing in that clip that you played earlier, imagining that people will do the same thing that white people would do if they were held by an oppressor. And I think what will surprise him, I think what will surprise him, I think what will surprise him and what will surprise many of us is that Africans aren't going to develop nuclear weapons and go and destroy Europe. I think what they'll do is just liberate Africa and go back to living hunky-dory amongst themselves. Whereas if you listen to what L. Ron Hubbard was saying, he's not only saying they will take back over South Africa, but they will seek to dominate and come towards Europe. And I don't think Africans.
He actually said they were. He said they were going to kill. He said they're going to kill each other off. He said that's what he's basically saying. He said that they're going to black on black, and that's something that we have to evaluate if this is actually happening as we look toward the future. Let me get to the next one. Your other one you produced, which was Negro Mountain. I thought that was quite interesting.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me just make a last comment on that.
Go ahead.
The clip also mentioned Rwanda, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Now they said that once
Johannesburg, Johannesburg, and some other areas. Go ahead.
Right. And now we know what happened in Rwanda, and we see what's happening in Rwanda now. We know that the Belgians are the ones that caused the conflict between the Hutus and the Tutsis. They left that out of Hotel Rwanda, the movie. But now we can see, maybe 20 years from now, they're not fighting anymore. They're not killing each other.
Well, right now they are. But right now they are fighting. We got Dr. Ngimi who's been on. Dr. Ngimi, who for the Huffington Post has been on our program, and he's giving me all kind of updates on going on in Congo. To get back on that, the Congo, the Black Panther, Rwanda, and different areas of the Congo, because Rwanda is part of the Congo problem. It's part of it.
Okay.
It's part of the Paul Arenga. Everybody, look up Paul Arenga. He's over the tribe that was killing in the movie. So y'all need to look him up, and he's connected to the Clintons. Our show tells facts, so you won't be able to dispute this, of course, at all. You welcome to the Clintons and some of the Obama administration when they was bringing AFRICOM in. They were actually able to do a lot of damage. Now, the Coltan, which is in the Black Panther movie, is vibranium, is Coltan.
Okay.
Everybody look that up. Coltan. The Coltan is what makes the computers. Without Coltan, we can't have satellite transmission. We cannot have satellite transmission without the Coltan. The Coltan is being harvested and mined in that area, everybody. And guess who's helping? The same country that was in Black Panther, South Korea, and North Korea. North Korea has major mining contracts in Africa. Why don't y'all go on Google one day, mining contracts in Africa, and see who's actually doing the mining. That way we can have a real talk about who's who in this global sci-fi that we in. Let's go to gargoyles, man. What brought on the gargoyles? Because that's Gothic.
Well, I use gargoyles as a translatable name. In my story, gargoyles are Egyptian emissaries of the god Ptah. And we know God Ptah is the god of the underworld. If there's a devil or underworld, that's the god Ptah. And he also serves almost as a Jesus in the sense that he takes the spirit of the person who died and escorts them into the afterlife. And the cool thing about Egypt is nothing is either good or bad. It's always both. And what I...
So Ma'at, it's really Ma'at. It's balanced. It's called Ma'at.
Well, the feather of Ma'at and Ma'at is the goddess of truth and righteousness. So your heart on the night of judgment, or the day of judgment, gets weighed against the feather of Ma'at. And the god Ptah is the one that takes you from that judgment of Ma'at, meaning you have to cite the 42 oracles of Ma'at, which are also translated into the 42 negative confessions. These are the things, right. These are the things that Moses learned while he was in school. So we know that he learned more than just 10 worldly commandments. He learned 42 worldly commandments called the 42 negative confessions or the 42 oracles of Ma'at, whichever one you want to look at.
Let me just say this to those, because our program talks about, our brother Gene should have told you, me and brother Gene, he should have brought you in with us. But let me just say this. These are numerology symbols, everybody. The 10 Commandments signifies the 713 laws of Leviticus. 7 plus 3 plus 1 is 10. So 613 laws. So it's numerical. 613 laws in Leviticus makes 10. That's why they've shortened it to the 10 Commandments, which is symbolic number. And also, the 42 Confessions of Tahuti is symbolic. That's 7 on the 7th day. Ptah rested. So we're gonna make sure you get all the facts today. Whatever we ain't missing nothing today. So y'all can't say we cover everything on the Helios Biblios Hour, because nothing is new under the sun. Let me just get to any callers out there. I'm gonna have you come in soon. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance to talk. The gargoyle thing is deep. Now let me ask you.
Now what's the number to call in?
The number to call in is 515-605. 9343. There we go.
Okay.
Those you want to get on this. Anybody who got a question, we're gonna bring it in. I just want to hit one more book, because that was the gargoyle, and then tell them a little bit about the Negro Mountain. That seems to be, because a lot of people, a lot of symbols over here in the Western world. We got mounds over here. We even got pyramids over here. So obviously, it's a pyramid age took place. But that mountain, what's the significance for that particular movie you made there?
So now, what I have in Negro Mountain is just the result of me traveling and being a road manager. And I was coming from West Virginia back to New Jersey, and my road manager, we passed a place called Negro Mountain, and this was in 1995. And I came back and I Googled it and I researched it, and I learned that it was named after an escaped slave named Nemesis. And the NAACP felt the name Negro was insulting, which we probably all would feel if we didn't know the history, and they decided to change it. The legend has it is that this escaped slave Nemesis escaped with a group of people and built a settlement, because west of certain states, colonies across the Appalachians, we were free. There was, we had the great, oh gosh, I just taught it. Not the Great Deal. The northern. It was an agreement. The northern expansion in the time they were founding the Constitution, United States Constitution. So this is George Washington. This is Thomas Jefferson.
The Constitution in 1789. 1789, the United States became what it is, what it's called today.
Right. They had something called the Northern something that said something about west towards Ohio was open land and anybody could settle it. So slaves that people were, the Africans that were enslaved could go west and they can get their land. So anyway,
now let me ask
he goes west. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So he goes west and he creates this settlement, and the settlers and him come into conflict with Native Americans, with other European, settlers, and he dies defending the settlement. So the settlers finish defending it, they named the mountain after him, and they call it Negro Mountain, probably because he didn't want to name it after himself. Maybe it was more than just him who fought, or maybe people said, don't go to that mountain. That's where the crazy black people live. You know, either way, it was Negro Mountain.
Way. And I think that's a good book for to be seen by a lot of people here in North America, because there is a belief system. I'm sure you heard it that most people believe that we were already here. The Africa story is a little somewhat fabricational in some aspects. That being that these things were already here. If we're here already, here's the question. If we're here already, and these other groups of blacks come in, that expansion actually happened after the Civil War because they had the Buffalo Soldier clear the land.
Right.
Preparing for the settlers. Is that not? That's a fact, right?
Yes. I mean, the time period is over almost over 80 years. So it's not like it's just one thing. That's how you had.
Right.
That's how you had a Haitian. That's how you had a Haitian found the city of Chicago. How did a Haitian get all the way to the top of the Mississippi?
Exactly. Right. Correct.
He married a Native American. Native Americans had over 200 pyramids along the Mississippi. It was an active environment. And so it wasn't new. There wasn't nobody living. If you think Native Americans lived in teepees, then you're just as brainwashed as, Sammy Sosa, if we're going to throw shade.
Right.
But to give you an example, my story, I did the same thing I did with Gold Digger Killer, in the sense that I created a legend. In my story, the story is that his spirit in death still protects the people who live there. And so if you go to Negro Mountain today, right, my story is that if you're a bad person or you do bad things, then bad things will happen to you because our ancestors still protect us. So in the story, it's about this little girl named Destiny, whose father happened to be white because she's biracial, but he's abusive. And the mountain, the spirit of Nemesis, comes to her aid and protects her. So it becomes like a black version of Amityville Horror, because I say that his ghost powers are the same as a bad ghost. Same way a ghost in Amityville Horror can cause blood to come down the wall or cause you some hallucinations, slam a door, leave a pilot on, whatever, give you some nightmares. That's the same thing a good ghost could do if it was to come to protect you.
Okay, and that was like the good ghost and the bad ghost, like almost like to say, in all things, a positive and negative, the bad and the good. And I'm gonna tell you something. I looked up, on this program, we look up a lot of information. Thank those of you who join us to give this information. A lot of these sci-fi trilogies are actually biblical and Egyptian folklore. Most of sci-fi and the Vedas, India, of the spaceship or the intergalactic war that happened on Earth. This is a fact. Go look up the Vedas, the Wars of the World, which is H.G. Wells, which is the reason why that came out. War of the Worlds is of the book of the Vedas. Go look it up. Black people everywhere. India got black people. I don't care if y'all don't like it. They got straight hair, so what? That's blacker than some of you. That's for damn sure. Now, let's get real. I'm going to take a few callers. Anything you want to take, ask. Like I say, for our guest, he's been around some of the best talent around. I remember him sending us brochures back in the day of all the early comedians he used to have coming out. Today, I don't know how they act today, but hey, he was around and got to see their growth. I'm gonna ask you, where in science fiction, everybody? This is the question for everybody. Is science fiction fact or fiction? Because that's the key word why they call it science fiction. They want you to think it's fiction. Now, I'm going to ask you 8554. And then give a comment briefly so we can get more callers. 8854, science fact, science fiction. Anything you want to ask it, I'll call it.
Hey, Dry Bones, this is Brother D, Region 5, Chicago. How you doing? Thanks for taking my call. Quick question. The new Lost in Space series that's coming on Netflix. What's interesting about this series with the so-called the Robinson family, why do you think the oldest daughter is all of a sudden black, and with the TV show that came out in the 60s and the movie that came out for years ago, the whole family's white? Why is the sister in this particular series black now?
Good question. I'm going to take you out because your phone, Brother Jeff, your phone is making an echo, so when I take you out, that's just so they won't hear your echo over the line. Good call. Okay. You notice that? The change? I'm seeing a black trend too being brought into the sci-fi at all levels. What's your thought?
Well, when I first saw the trailer, I was just happy that it wasn't weird like the other remake 10 years ago. I liked Lost in Space as a concept. It seemed very clownish and silly when I remember watching it on TV. But I think now that we see John Boyega kind of possibly beating Black Panther this weekend with his movie Pacific Rim 2, I think American filmmakers, Hollywood per se, is very late to the party of multicultural, diverse casting. They still do tokenism. And because they are doing this tokenism, this black character in Lost in Space may not have any more backstory than the black female Ghostbuster in the last Ghostbuster. She may not be any, this young lady may not be anything deeper than Finn in Star Wars. But if you're looking for a real diversity, you got to check out some of Vin Diesel's movies. This Pacific Rim that had Idris Elba in it, and the one now with John Boyega, the characters actually have backstory. You know, almost like they tried to give to Zoe Saldana in the Star Trek movie. There's a little bit more character backstory. This person is more than just a black person in the story. So we'll see. I don't know what they're going to do with her. I just think it is because they don't have anybody black in the Lost in Space story, and diversity and black characters have been having a Will Smith effect. So even if you got a corny story, you throw a black person in there, you're going to get enough people to watch it, and you won't lose your money.
But, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. It's commercial. I'm going to take a couple more calls. Got one more. You've been holding for a minute. Those you want to ask the question, get in on this 3364. I'm bringing you in next, 3364. What's your take? Fact or fiction? Science fiction fact? Science, or is it fiction to you? Let me hear you.
Hey, what's up, man? It's all somebody reality what they see. But the main thing I got is I heard that clip you played of L. Ron Racist Hubbard, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm tired of these you call pages, man. I'm sick of them. Okay. That statement he made about the Bantu is the tribe of Benjamin, man. Israel with that.
I want you to hear that yourself. I want you now. Hold on. I played you the facts so you can see what he said. That no one else is telling you what he said. That's what this man said out of his own psyche, who has a prolific organization that is still in effect today. So go ahead, finish your comment.
Yeah, that's what they do, man. They try to create us to kill each other, man. It's the same. They're playing the same playbook all on the planet, man. So their time is up, man. Okay, so they know their time up, man. So we just got to do what we doing and stick together, man.
What's your thought on sci-fi? So you got a sci-fi?
Like I just said, man, it's all somebody's reality, man. I love it all, man. It's all shared knowledge, man. And,
all right. Appreciate that love, ATL.
I want to thank
Hold on. Let me bring you back. I heard thank you. But hold on.
Yeah.
I'm about to take another. Thank who? Who you want to thank?
I want to thank Empress, that lady. She sent me that tea and all that, man. I'm going to check it out, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah. We love y'all.
That's what I'm saying.
We do.
Much love
Quality,
to my people,
baby.
man. You know,
Quality.
it's our
That's
time,
what we do.
man. It's our time.
Quality. That's all we. If we're gonna be people, we gotta be of quality, and that's how it works. Let me get one more caller. Question for the host, guest, film writer, speaker, lecturer. I want to hear from you. 0134. Make it brief. Sci-fi or science facts? Which one is it?
Good morning, Dry Bones, and good morning, sir. I think that sometimes facts are stranger than fiction. And with everything that is being developed today, well, that we know of today, that's being made known to us today, you know, with the children missing in New Orleans.
St. Louis. Yeah. Oh,
St.
yeah.
Louis.
Oh, yeah.
Give me. And then, I don't know if you had a chance to look, or your guest, about these designer babies they're making.
Yeah, they're making designer babies. That's science fiction, but back in the day, y'all, remember they had test tube babies for us in movies? Yes. I remember the Coma. Coma was a hell of a fiction sci-fi movie. We thought it was a joke that they had comatose people in hospitals. Not a joke. Go ahead.
Yes, and so now with the clones and everything else. So, yes, I mean, whatever comes out now, I mean, is it, you know, you don't know, is it fiction or is it truth?
Yeah.
Design as fiction.
Yeah, design as fiction. Much love. All right, I'm going to get some more calls. Brother, why don't you answer to that? I mean, we seen, where you at? I'm sorry, I had to break you out because, you know, we see, I'm bringing you back in. I'm bringing you back in. Okay. We see a lot of stuff that was in these movies, man. Cloning, the Sieves, Frankenstein is actually a cloning movie.
Yes.
And yet, it's actually happening.
But it is.
It's happening.
Yep. It is more than just cloning, because cloning is just one person. Frankenstein is using like 5 different people. He got a hand from one person, a leg from somebody else, a brain from somebody else, a head from somebody else. There's a lot in Frankenstein. So he's even more advanced than just one clone. But what I'll say towards your question, almost in a way that she answered it, is you ever heard the saying, if the mind can conceive, the body can achieve? Have you ever heard that thing?
Oh, yeah. Heard that? That's Funkadelic, baby. So, as you can see, the mind is Funkadelic.
So when you speak something, when you speak into the universe, you speak it with your pen, you speak it with your mouth, you get it out of your head and into something else, then that has the ability to be achieved. So what has happened is we've been having many of the sci-fi writers speak all of this brimstone and chaos, doomsday type sci-fi with a bunch of problems, misuses, negative uses. It's almost like with Frankenstein, Mary Shelley, you don't know whether she meant it to be sci-fi, to be a sci-fi story or a horror story, you know, because Frankenstein is a horror monster, but he's in a sci-fi story. That's because so many of these Western writers, the white writers, were thinking negative things. They were thinking bad things. So our creations, the things that we developed, our technologies that came out of these sci-fi ideas were also negative. So what's now happening is, like with writers like me, I have a book about my zombie book. There's a creation in there that may not be true yet, but I put it out there, but it's not a negative or positive. It can be used for both. And there's not too many things that give you a choice. When you talk about the movie War of the World, there's no other way to interpret the aliens. There's no negotiating with them. There's no talking to them. They're just here to eat us. That's it.
Well, that's what happened. Will Smith played it. I mean, that's Independence Day. I mean, we love this stuff, man. Hold on, let me get this. Let's get clear, everybody. The brother mentioned Hollywood. I told you, and I stand by facts. I ain't got a problem with Black Panther making a record breaking, because I just showed you that the CEO of Disney, made what the movie was worth. He made $435 million in one check. Whatever they want to call it, he got for his endeavors to bring Disney to a new level. Because Disney owns Marvel. Let's be honest. Let's talk real facts now. Real facts, everybody. Let's get deep. We about to get deep. Let's get into the money game, because all this is commerce. All this is commerce. What happens, brother? What happened, Brother Jeff, when they go to a digital? Ain't no more money, and you can only use a chip. Now you telling me George Orwell, 1984? You don't think he had an agenda that was deeper than just some? Maybe he tapping into a real secret society. Ain't most of these writers Masons? I know I have the facts. Are they not facts? Is that they Masons?
You stated that earlier, and definitely have respect for the concept of the Masons. I
do too. Me too, but I'm not. No, you know a lot. You know a lot of black Masons. I understand. I'm talking about the ones who are in the occult world, who have billions of dollars to make a speculative. I'm talking to the Mason world, operative. Right. If you got abundance of wealth, couldn't you actually find the rare earth metals to make science fiction? If I find coltan is a rare earth metal from a meteorite that they said is Black Panther, it's actually been found. We don't know all the archaeology finds. They don't tell the mundane people. So let's say they found this technology. You don't think they will use it in a power? Because every sci-fi power is giving us good and evil, everybody. What you think they're going to do with this new technology? Tell me what you think they're going to do with it.
I know what they want to do. Right. I know what they want to do.
Tell me. Tell the audience.
Right. I know what they want to do, or I can project my thoughts on what I think they would want to do with it. But will they be able to do what they want to do is a question, because I think they wanted to do a lot of things over time that they just haven't been able to achieve. I'm
like
not
what?
One
give us one example that they were not able to achieve. Because we deal with facts. Facts is a numerical thing. What fact can you give the audience that they have not achieved?
Well, let's just look at South Africa. L. Ron Hubbard predicted they would lose their grip on South Africa, and they're losing their grip, and the Africans are taking it back. I don't think the founding Afrikaners, the founding white people, ever expected that their descendants would get kicked off of their land. And they go back to
I'm sure they didn't. And you're right. I know about the Berlin Conference. I'm saying, but Erwan Hubbard today in the Western world is still revered by black people, even more so. So isn't there a dichotomy of different patterns? Because let me ask you a question, because you're universal. Just because we're black, does that mean we think all alike? That's the concept? That's not the concept of sci-fi writers. Everybody does not think alike. Does everybody think alike?
No. I think there's similar things that influence us all that are natural. Like, sure, everybody black doesn't have rhythm, okay? So, no, we don't all think, I don't think we all think alike.
That's true.
So I wouldn't say that. But I do think our collective energy is different than other cultures. So when you reach a critical mass,
which ones though? Okay. Now let me ask you. There's a lot of things with that, because again, you being a sci-fi writer, you're gonna be the next generation for our for the younger generation to look at and to come into it. We're seeing a lot of the Black Panther comic books, which I'm affiliated with and understand some of the. It was made in the 60s. You understand where I'm coming from? A lot of these writings, like L. Ron Hubbard, is the 60s. Did you know that Stan Lee made a cameo in Black Panther? He wanted everybody to know I made this.
He's the Teddy Riley or the Puff Daddy of all of his movies. He's in Jessica Jones. He's in Luke Cage. He's in all of the Avengers, X-Men. Every movie he makes a cameo in. He's still alive, but I'm pretty sure he's going to have a picture of him in every movie, even after.
Yeah, but I'm saying he made sure, because that was a hell of a concept to have a movie in the 60s when black people are in the streets begging for a civil right, and this man come out of nowhere and make a black superhero. In the 60s, 6 months before the original physical Black Panthers show up on Oakland, you said they sit around at secret meetings, and you say that they sit around these hierarchies, and you think they don't have a meeting?
I don't think they're secret. They have a national convention, and it's
no. Hold
on. All the members.
No, I know that part, but you're not going to be sitting up there with David Susnick and all them. You ain't gonna be sitting up there with them.
I'm talking about hotel room.
I'm talking about the real deal people. I'm talking about the ones who run these studios. You don't think they get together and have like a meeting, a real high level thought on how much money could be made? They don't. You think the elite really care about color? They care about money.
I think to a certain extent they do, and to a certain extent they don't. I don't think
in the money concept
and color.
Yeah, the money concept.
I don't think it's devoid of racial impact. I think they do think about the racial impact as much as they think about money. Sometimes it topples, but yeah, they're really about money.
Let me ask you. Really? When we were little kids, we didn't know something. See, remember the Nielsen ratings used to come out? At that time, they were paying our parents to tell us what we watch. You don't think that's social engineering?
I think any marketing company does social engineering, but all companies, they aren't all successful.
Well, you don't think they're successful when they got us to buy? Hold on. Let's talk some facts here.
I don't think they all are.
Well, success is weighed in our capitalistic world. Me and you are capitalists. I mean, unless you're a socialist, let me know. But capitalists mean we want some funds. We want some money. So if they can see that black folks, they don't care if black folks come to a movie if they're going to make $1 trillion worldwide, they're like, please come. That's how the capitalists think. They don't care about that. Let me get some calls on that. Because I want y'all to see some calls. Y'all being dropped. Come on, y'all. We'll get back in here. There you go. I'm going to bring 1877 in. I'm going to bring you in. As you live in fantasy, fact, science fiction, or is this shit real? We got cell phone towers everywhere. That was in 1984. Look up that, George Orwell. 1877. You want to?
Good morning, Dry Bones, and good morning to your wonderful guests and to the listeners. I just wanted to answer your question when you asked them earlier, what have they achieved that, they haven't accomplished as fact, right? So, of course, we don't know the minds of these entities that's controlling and dominating sci-fi because I believe that, it's real behind some entities. So I think what they haven't succeeded, and we can look at the fact that they haven't had dominance over the world. They want the mind of every person breathing on here because they're here to eat us. And eat us can mean physically and mentally because they want to be in control. That's why they have all these technologies that was in sci-fi that's actually watching us. There's cameras all over the place. They can come into your house through your phone, through the smart meter, through the TV. They have this thing that they have they've done division through race, division through religion, the division through I'm from this part of the world and you're not. Okay? So they keep the chaos going. But through sci-fi, they really want dominance. And they want us to worship the one and only, which is whatever that God is that's controlling the planet to reduce our length of time on Earth. Because I believe that our forefathers lived thousands of years. But they have been crafty to alter the DNA. They have been crafty to put in things in our food to affect our DNA and our lifespan. So the goal is to control us. And they haven't succeeded in that area yet.
Now he said something. He said something deep earlier when he said Frankenstein was taken by his body part. Now that's what's really happening. Now I know y'all can't handle that, some of you, because this show deals with facts. I can't help if you handle the facts. Now I'm going to take a little break, and I got to play a commercial right quick for y'all, because many of you might be first time listeners who are coming on our program. See, this show is called The Talk Where Facts Matters. Facts make you think, make you wonder what you think you know. Do you really know? Or are you in your own matrix where you can't get out? The sister was one of the best sci-fi writers out. I know she's been battling, but when you're dealing with Hollywood, you may not win. They can drag you into court forever. That's the facts. And here's the facts for those of you who can't handle the facts that you're hearing on The Talk Where Facts Matters.
Very, very simple thing, that if you have a certain worldview, and conservatives have one worldview and progressives have a very different one, if you have a certain worldview that doesn't allow you to see the facts, then you won't see them. And the reason is very simple. In general, when you perceive something comes into your eyes, you have about a tenth of a second before it becomes conscious, and it will change in that tenth of a second to fit what you already know or believe. It will change fast. And it changes either, flashes of light will change, things you touch will change, all of those things will change, and ideas will change. So when you have facts that come in that won't fit the way that you understand the world, then you won't, the way you understand the world is going to change, is not going to change. The facts will either be ignored, ridiculed, or attacked, because they will threaten the way you understand the world, or not threaten them. People be happy with the way you understand the world and ignore the facts. But the frames that frame the facts are part of your brain. They're physical. All ideas are physical. They're in your brain. When they come in, that part of your brain is not going to change. And so you have lots of people in this country who have conservative worldviews, and they just don't see it. It's not like they're denying it. It's not like I know that fact and I'm going to deny it. It's like it's not even a fact.
That's why this is called a fact talk where facts matter. It may not even be a fact to you, what we're saying at all today. But if it's not, that's okay. That's why I tell those who are going to church right now, take that 2 Timothy 2:15 and say, study to show thyself approved, rightly dividing the word. Abiding means scale. And then he mentioned about the gargoyles, the Mayat, all of the so-called great, the Wizard of Oz, Mason, Grand Mason. Not like we talking today, barbecuing Masons. No, we ain't talking about barbecuing Masons. We talking about moving shakers that got some flow. This is a cult world. This is a cult world. That's what we say on this program. If you don't believe it, ain't my fault. It's the facts. You just don't want to. It just don't line up in your thought patterns. That's how you could tell if your mind is a matrix. Because your thought patterns is what you've been perceiving all your life through your parents and so forth. So your parents tell you certain things, you're going to believe that because they're the first microcomputers that you have contacted with. But now they see the watchers. We're going to get deep now. Isn't a lot of watching going on? Brother Jeff, bring you back because you get a lot of echo. Let's talk about the great ones too. Even the ones like when they made the Tales from the Crypt back in the day on HBO. That was some hell of a sci-fi right there. Tales from the Crypt. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, it was some good speculation going on in there.
That was some good stuff there. Yes, I found a lot of love in that too. But let me just say, there was a lot of things that we talk about that are social. So we know social issues very much. Now, social engineering is a science.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
Are we under what is?
It could be both biological and engineering. Social engineering. It could be just let's not put a healthy grocery store in this community. That's social engineering.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can make vegetables, and then either you got an organic group. Our cash flow. Let's talk. Our cash flow would probably ordain organic if we want to spend organic, but we we spend on the cheaper product, which is the low end product, and that's where many of the dollars show. What the facts show, our spending, we will spend on less than on quality when it comes to food. Psychologically, that comes from somebody saying we're gonna grow your own food for you. What happened to all the farmers, man? All the farmers that we had, that's part of if you know, Star Trek was looking for new planets that can sustain life. It seemed like we let our planet become under. Remember the Omen movie? I used to love the Omen. Remember the Omen movie?
Yep.
You remember how Damien got brought into Monsanto? That was Monsanto in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Monsanto was making famine. Remember famine was being made in the Omen? And all you sci-fi, I love horror movies. So all you sci-fi and horror flicks, they all the same. They told you they were going to use food. Why, don't you see food being manipulated at the max today?
What the Health is a good documentary on the changes in food, the things that we eat, and we think they're the same things that our parents ate just because they're called chicken or they're called eggs. They're not eggs anymore.
Right, but there are farm people who want to eat good food. See, it's good news. Remember you said it was good. Yeah. So it's good people who are making good food, but we don't spend our dollars to that.
Mm-hmm.
You understand where I'm coming from? So the energy level of our people has to be looked at, because we will spend billions of dollars, which is energy, on something that will not profit. Now, that's social engineering through television, which is from 1984. George Orwell, we'll all be watching TVs. Aren't we all watching the cell phones?
Right now, because I'm on live stream.
That's what I'm telling you. So is that not a reality of George Orwell?
Yeah, definitely.
So I find that to be way powerful, that we should be taking sci-fi. I'm glad you took this initiative. Let's get into the sci-fi movie you made, and how relate that to what we see today.
Which movie? Which one are you talking about?
The one with that says Lady. It was Lady for the sci-fi. You had a sci-fi movie that I think would be good to watch. Not Death Pledge, but that's a book. Which ones are the movies? That's a book. That one?
Yeah, Welcome to Boss Lady's Planet.
Yes, that's a book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, Boss Lady's Planet is my best at speculating on technology could do in terms of robotic police officers. Now, it's not necessarily written to be an analogy, but it is written to make us think about what we do with the technology we may get. So in that story, they used robots to fight their war they had with another species. And when they win the war for the humans, they don't know what to do with the robots. So they end up using the robots, or they want to use the robots as police. And they go to a planet that is low level. And at the time, the robots aren't working successful. They're malfunctioning, doing some of the same things that the police dogs are doing, attacking poor and black people different than the way they are dealing with other people who are rich. Again, this is a black sci-fi writer, so my world is all black and Latino. So you don't have white people that are in charge in my world. So you're just having a conversation of ideals.
Now,
so
what about that movie? That's like the same movie of yours is a book, but the one in South Africa called 19, where they showed them where the robots, Choppy and Chippy was a robot.
Oh, you're talking about Chappie.
Yeah, Chappie was a robot in South Africa, but that was made by India.
Right.
The Indian.
So
you can see. Go ahead.
Chappie had robots but they also had a totalitarian police department in South Africa, and Chappie became a freedom fighter. He became a rebel against the machine, but he was
that's
also
to make us love it.
Huh?
That you think about that. That would make us love that, because look, they're getting us as they make us see movies saving humans. Now they're bringing out robots because they got one now. They made a citizen. Did you know they made a citizen a robot in Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Sophia. Now, what's your thoughts on that, brother? That's a real robot. It's now a citizen. Now, you think that may be by accident, or is that by well planned out?
I think it's more marketing. I think it's more marketing at this point in terms of just to make it a some type of get world news. You know what I'm saying? Now, is she programmed to think a certain way? Do you think they'll let her vote, and how much will her vote count? And if
I don't know. I mean, but you got to ask some. Why don't you ask some of the Arabs? You got to ask the Arabs that, bro, because the Arabs is not. See, it wasn't just made. She was made a citizen by the Arab immigrant. So maybe we should be asking them, why would they do that? Why would you make a robot a citizen? That's something that maybe science fiction fans need to start looking into, saying that this is kind of strange. I mean, a robot is a citizen getting voting rights. Yeah, she gets voting rights. Yeah, she does. She does.
I don't think they are thinking that deep. I don't.
Well, you don't think that? You don't think so?
Well, I'll tell you this reason why is I don't respect the Arabs' world speculation on things the way I do other cultures on this planet. I don't, I think they clown around with a lot of things. I think their oil has made them not care about certain things. They don't seem to be leading the world in anything technological, no real school of thought. I mean, what about
Dubai? What about Dubai? I mean, everybody's going to Dubai. So Dubai, matter of fact, I think smart cities. I want y'all to look this up on Google. Google smart cities by your boy Appleman and all them. They're making these smart cities that are going to be totally wireless. I don't know what, but look at the area they're going to put them in. It's some area. Dubai is one of the areas that they may be considering. So we keep a look at that. All sci-fi fans. Sci-fi.
And I respect Dubai. I got family members that's working out there. But
Dubai, working. They're making them rich. They ain't just working. I look at that. I thought about going to Dubai. I said, damn, I can get out of everything. Shit. Yeah. That's why the job there. Hold on. Let me
throw it out to you. Dubai is so technologically implemented.
Yes, it is.
What new technology has Dubai brought to the world? To me,
they ain't bringing it to the world. They just bring it to themselves. They say Dubai.
What do they have besides a city with a lot of technology that no other city has? They are just, to them, it's just a new Mercedes-Benz. They don't make Mercedes-Benz. They don't make Rolls-Royce. They just spend their money to impress the world. They don't create anything new.
I mean, again, when you got that type of money, now let's be real about this. If you got that type of money, you say impress the world. That means you got to impress if you can impress the world, that means you got something to impress with. That means some type of tangible item, and that'll be oil, which is connected to the money you got in your pocket. The money you got in your pocket is connected to them as we speak. Look that up, everybody. It has not changed yet. That's why Bitcoin, new technology, cashless society, just like 1984 said. Let's get some more callers. I'm going to get you 11111. I'll make a call brief. We need it brief. 11111. All right, 111. I'm going to go to 8079. New York, 8079. You on there?
Good morning, Dry Bones. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, brother.
Hey, I'd like to ask your guest a question about sci-fi connected to DAPRA, and has he ever been approached to DAPRA to go to work for DAPRA?
Yeah, DAPRA D. Go ahead. You ever heard of DAPRA? Oh,
Did
hold
you
on,
lose
my
him?
bad. Yeah, no, I didn't lose him. I had to mute because he's on Facebook Live. It has an echo and bring you back in. He said Sci-Fi, Jeff, is connected to Doppler. Have you ever been approached by Doppler or had any information about Doppler? But that's Sci-Fi for real.
Not that I know of. So no, I'll say this, but I'll say who knows who were some of the people that approached me and talked to me. So I don't know who they are.
Yeah, but you know, have you heard of Doppler? Doppler is what they do. Remember you mentioned about the robots? They got police robots already being made and being mass produced for some futuristic term that they call coming up. Good question. Let me take some more calls on there. I got y'all coming in.
I do know who Doppler is.
Yeah, I mean, they got robots that attack you. They got good robots. Matter of fact, they show you good robots. They have to show you good robots to make you fall in love with them. It's like tradition. But you know, let me tell you people. Go ahead.
They have the one that jumps up like a dog. They have the one that opens the door. They have the one that has the camera on top of his head. So I'm familiar with the technology. I don't know if they're more advanced than the company that's out of China.
But they're probably working with them. Everybody knows each other. It's like one big network. Even my people
competing against them.
Competing against each other, right? And they got contracts. We got Google, Amazon. They're like gods of the tech world. I mean, in sci-fi world, because they're talking about with Elon Musk of going in, hyper extension life. They're talking about doing brain chips. This is what Spock and them. Remember, McCoy was able to put a sensor over you to heal you like the ancient time with harmonics.
Right.
So that lets you know they must be looking at ancient technology as well, or they must have it in their possession to be able to do some of the things they do today. And again, this is like sci-fi. Those of you, I'm going to keep y'all in the loop. Metropolis. Y'all got to ask yourself. I told you they're doing a cult. It's a cult world. When I look at my Beyonce dressing up as the Metropolis, the movie that was made in 1927, everybody, by a master of German expressionism, Fritz Lang. He was a science fiction movie release, and this was about the New World Order. This is facts. This is not made up out my head. I only speak facts. Already been implemented by the selected elite in luxury to dehumanize mass work and live in highly monitored hell. Now, this is what I'm having a problem with. It says highly monitored. Now, I don't know if you understand that you see cameras everywhere. Your reality cannot escape this. Remember Dreamscape, everybody, the movie Dreamscape? You ain't escaping this dream. Not at all. Everything you do is monitored now. Now, is these people either are human or maybe they're aliens, because that's sci-fi too. And that's the sci-fi menu you're scared of. The alien part. Let me go to 8341. How come we can't talk aliens but the Bible can? Ain't the Nephilim alien? Ain't that what they said? There we go. Didn't the Dogon say they came from out of the sky? Let me go to 8341. What's up? Sci-fi, sci-fiction.
Coach up, my brother Drabone. This is Eddie Harris there from Chicago, number man.
What's up, brother? How you feel? Appreciate you.
I'm all right. But yeah, Alien 14, that's the code. Ancient 23, that's another 5, that's the code. All of this that they're giving all of it is predicated on our history. If we know our history at the end of the day, we will now connect the dots. We know what it is. Dealing with everything that we're basically talking about is Hollywood. Even when we go to NASA, when you mentioned Alex Crowley earlier, he's part of it. Jack Parsons, you've been mentioning L. Ron Hubbard, Walt Disney, and Warner Van Braun, all was called the Dream Team.
Yes,
that was assembled for NASA to give them their backdrop of how they wanted the world to see reality. And see, we're in a matrix, a dream world that we really believe is reality. We're coming out of it slowly but surely. But that's basically in the nutshell.
Now, when you say that surely, that's the part we got to get our people up to understanding. Surely can mean what? 500 years or 10, 20, 30? What's this? Because we've been saying this came out in the 60s now. All that we're talking about is in the 60s implementation of an agenda called the New Order, which is in mainly every magazine. That's what Captain America's fighting. And Octopus, James Bond is fighting Octopus. I mean, they're fighting a sea commercial entity. Go ahead.
Funny you mentioned Octopus because that's the symbol of the UN. That's the octopus right now that we're fighting.
Ain't that what Black Panther going? Ain't that what Black Panther let? Yeah, ain't that funny how Black Panther let the movie end? And if you was dumb, I hate to say it, and you just left the movie because you think you getting out, you missed the UN part.
That's
when
it.
He gonna give all the technology to Octopussy. Let me get some more calls in. I'm gonna get some more calls, brother. I want you to expound on that since I got you, because I mean, I'm telling you, facts and fiction is going to be real. I mean, let's talk. He just said it. The octopus is the UN symbol, and that's all that we've been. I mean, all the past movies of Marvel have been fighting this entity.
When you talk about the octopus,
yeah, I mean, anything how these symbols add up to something that is actually happening today.
They have there's a symbol of this organization in Marvel called Hydra. And Hydra,
that's it.
Right, and that's the organization that you're talking about. But I give you an example. You know, as a creator, you don't necessarily take ideas directly from the world because you'll get sued or you'll get in trouble. But you're inspired by what you see in the world. So you mimic what you see already existing in the world. And then you'll say, okay, how about if this was to happen? That's when you write it. And sometimes you get good at it, and these things do happen, or they already are happening, and you don't know it. Now, and so why do that? Is that so that way when these things do happen, we will have some idea on how to handle it, or how to use it, how to deal with it, how to stop it. And so that is the essence of science fiction speculation. It's really to take a concept, throw it out there, test drive it, and let's see what we can do with it, so we can either be able to use it and benefit from it, or to stop it before it really has an impact on us. And that's all we do. We go to these conventions, we study the past, we go to new breaking technologies, websites, and see what they're doing and speculate about it. Many times, the creators of these things, they don't always know what they're going to do with it either. So I don't know. I mean, I do understand, and I do believe some of the things that we're seeing are strategic. But if you look at all of what sci-fi is, all of the books that come out, all of the movies that come out, they were all seen in 50 different directions. So how do you know which one will predict?
Well, they all got the same. They all got the same pattern. It's a pattern in movies. Movies always got a hero, a heroine, and a finish. Usually the heroine or a brotherly fight. Brotherly fight is the ancient story of Set and Horus fighting each other. It's always that type of thing going on. It's in everything, all romanticized. I'm looking for anybody who can answer the question I told y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a chance. I'm gonna give a giveaway from Empress to Bold. She'll be setting up. I'll talk to you later. I want to know who's a civil rights leader who was in 1920 made a utopia conversation in science fiction catastrophe from the start of the conversation about race relations and the proto-Afrofuturistic tale. This is a icon in the civil rights movement, made a sci-fi movie, a sci-fi book, with no movie. I'll give y'all a gift. Y'all come up with his name. Y'all gotta have y'all think about that one. Let me get some more calls in. Hold on, before we leave, Jeff, give them your information just in case. I want to give them how they can reach you, how they can get these good books, how they can take them, how you can come to them. You do lectures. You can come to whatever facilities, churches, organizations, from all your programs that you have. Give them the information so they can contact you.
Well, the best way to reach me is on one of my social platforms. I'm Jeff Carroll on Facebook. If you go to Amazon and Google my name, Jeff Carroll, or log up one of my book titles, you'll be able to purchase all of my merchandise. I'm on Instagram. So those are some of the, and I'm on Twitter. I'm Coach Yo Jeff on Twitter. But if you Google my name, you'll see I have a blog where I blog about relationships on Real Health Magazine, and I am Yo Jeff, as you see in the background. I posted on this side, Yo Jeff, the hip-hop dating coach. So, yeah, the best place for my books is on Amazon. Right now, I don't have a site for my film. Gold Digger Killer, we're in the process of re-releasing it and possibly doing a sequel or reshooting the original. So there's a lot of good things. But
and the one in my good friend, I was shocked and good to see.
Oh, yeah.
But Gene Phoenix LeGrand, a hell of a martial artist, world-renowned martial artist.
Grandmaster.
Yeah, that's my boy. That's not what I'm gonna say. That's my brother. I'm gonna say.
Right.
Becoming when you talked a little bit, I said maybe he talked to you earlier. Some of the stuff you were saying about the Egyptians. I said that sounds like something for Tom when you was talking. But good to see that he is involved. I'm a little upset that I'm not in the movie for my acting talents, But nonetheless, it looked very good. I liked how it's set up. It's almost like the Purge a little bit with the college fraternities. Now, you know me, you do a little talk about these fraternities. I know these fraternities got a lot of history and so forth. I like how you did that. How'd that concept come about?
Well, when I was in college, we were deep into fraternity sorority culture, and I was about to pledge an organization, and I wasn't really impressed with the undergraduate expression of the organization. And my roommate was captain of the basketball team, and all he really wanted was girls. So he was getting all the girls any guy could want. He was getting sorority girls. And he was like, man, Jeff, we call ourselves Pimp Sci-Fi. And I said, that's just as ignorant as the one organization I was thinking about joining. I said, even if we cleaned it up and called it Positive Influential Manpower, I still couldn't be a part of it. So that became the anchor organization. I took that name that I created based on something that he thought of, Positive Influential Manpower. Pimp Sci-Fi is the way it's called in the movie, and built a whole group of fraternities. We have Alpha Sigma Sigma, the Ladies of Ass. Then I have Lambda Iota Kappa, Lick, which is a lesbian sorority. And then I took an African fraternity sorority, African one based on African tradition, because those were just starting in the late 80s, early 90s. And so this one is called the Fellowship of Niger. And I gave them all symbols, and I gave them colors, gave them the actors even made up some stepping moves and some hand signals. So, but we had fun because this way I didn't have to deal with any of the existing black fraternity sororities and having to deal with lawsuits and stuff. People saying
that's right.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, that's right. I'm glad you said that. Now this is a business, y'all. You think these fraternities are business? You better be understood. Now I want to play something for y'all because I want y'all to know that all of the early. We did this program. See how we did these programs for y'all, and now it's coming to fruition. All of the early writers, Thomas Huxley, and H.B. Wells, and Rudolf Steiner, and all these prolific social writers, all was in the Fabian Society. Remember, I did a program on that. Y'all go see. All of them in the Fabian Society. Most of your sci-fi early writers was of the Fabian Society. And I want you to know, I have a clip. It ain't long. I told you, we deal with the facts here. Of what the Fabian Society said they were going to produce in the 21st century. Sci-fi fact, sci-fi fiction.
Aldous Huxley, author of Brave New World and brother of Julian Huxley, gave a speech at Berkeley in 1962, shortly before his death. He admitted that his best-selling book, Brave New World, written in 1932, was based not on fiction, but on what the elite were actually planning to implement.
And here I would like briefly to compare the parable of Brave New World with another parable which was put forth more recently in George Orwell's book, 1984. I'm inclined to think that the scientific dictatorships of the future, and I think there are going to be scientific dictatorships in many parts of the world, will be probably a good deal nearer to the Brave New World pattern than to the 1984 pattern. They will be a good deal nearer, not because of any humanitarian qualms in the scientific dictators, but simply because the Brave New World pattern is probably a good deal more efficient than the other. That if you can get people to consent to the state of affairs in which they are living, the state of servitude, the state of being, well, it seems to me that the nature of the ultimate revolution with which we are now faced is precisely this, that we are in process of developing a whole series of techniques which will enable the controlling oligarchy, who have always existed and presumably always will exist, to get people actually to love their servitude. People can be made to enjoy a state of affairs which, by any decent standard, they ought not to enjoy. And these methods, I think, are a real refinement on the older methods of terror, because they combine methods of terror with methods of acceptance. But then there are various other methods which one can think of. There is, for example, the pharmacological method. This was one of the things I talked about in Brave New World. And the result would be that, I mean, you can imagine a euphoric which would make people thoroughly happy even in the most abominable circumstances. I mean, these things are possible.
Did you hear that, everybody? The man said, you will love your servitude. You will love your servitude. That's what it said. This is from Berkeley University, the most liberal school with the most riots in California during this whole time of civil unrest on colleges. I find that to be totally pathetic. That they can say something in 1932 and it's actually happening in 2018. What's your thoughts on that, brother?
I think it is definitely by the design and just as you said it. I mean, face value. Sometimes you have to accept the facts as they are. But, you know, once you accept the facts, then you can change the outcome. And so just because it's how it was predicted.
That's it. Once you accept that you're in this condition, at least know it. Like Harriet Tubman said, if they only knew they was enslaved, I could have freed a bunch more, but they didn't even know it. That's what the man, see, that's how deep this goes.
And I like the other thing that I always use as a mantra is by G.I. Joe. I don't know if he's the original ones that said, but the cartoon, and they used to say, knowledge is half the battle. And and that is just understanding what you're competing against, what you're being confronted with, what their goals are, what the reality is. All those things are important. And once you learn that, and you can then change it or deal with it.
That's it. Let me get some more calls. Y'all lighten up the board. Let me get 924 Lauderdale. You on the air.
Hello?
There you go, 9240.
Oh, you can hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, okay. Peace, brother. Peace, family. Thanks for guests for the information. Just something real quick. What you said about Black Panther, I thought it was really strange at the end of the movie that, you know, he had that altercation prior with his cousin about the information. His cousin wanted to take it out and show the rest of the world, but they disagree with it. But at the end, here you have the CIA sitting there in the background, and then he did decide to set information with Octopus. You know, with the United Nations. I thought that was really weird.
Yeah, he wanted to share it, but that's going to lead up. See, now, who's to say that these writers that we all talk about, Walt Disney, number one, magician, that's why I say magic. They're using magic. That's why the Magic Kingdom. Yeah, I hope y'all understand where we're coming from. Powerful. A spell. The United Nations by the Rockefellers and all the elites who put it together. Did you know that his father looked like Kofi Annan? Everybody, did you realize his father, in the end, almost looked like Kofi Annan, who's married to the Rothschild family? 4457. You on the air? That's back to you, Jeff, because I had to take you off because you got an echo. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, now, what do you want me to respond to?
You can, whatever you feel, whatever you heard that you feel you might want to input on, that's fine.
Okay, no, I definitely, the same thing as before, you know, a lot of times we don't know what they're writing about or what's going on out there, and this internet is a great equalizer. Of course, researchers like yourself uncover things that most people don't take the time to look up, and stuff is, you know, I don't like to say you hide it from a black person, put it in a book, but I will say that the information is available for everybody to get at. All you have to do is
yes, it is.
Yes, it is. You know, and it's not just hidden from black people, because I think white people can compete with black people on who reads the least or who these people are manipulating. Because I don't think they're just manipulating black people, like you said.
No, they're manipulating the whole world. Right. I'm glad you brought that point up. The people at the top. Because I want people to realize this. If you look at Africa, the real billionaires, almost trillionaires, they're all from Nigeria. Go look at them. These are the facts. The Sultan of Somalia, they are billionaires beyond most people's thought. They're some of the richest people in the world. We've been hoodwinked to believe that black people ain't sitting at the table. Black people are part of the alien concept. Why do you think they had to make Star Trek? Star Trek had to have Uhura, which is a deep name. If you look up Uhura, you're going to take it to the Dogon tribe, who came out of Sirius B. Is what they claim they came from. I don't understand where the problem is, sci-fi fans. They gave you the knowledge. Spock came on. I hope y'all want to look up Spock. Captain Spock, the real Leonard Nimoy, came on In Search Of. He had a show called In Search Of. He went to the Dogon and admitted that the star system dance they was doing could not be seen with human eyes. That came from Spock. Logic is Tahuti in the Egyptian. That's why Spock is on there. He is Tahuti. Bro, I'm telling you, Gene Roddenberry, these were master masons. I love them, man. These cats were deep, man. Y'all, I'm just telling you. Y'all might be scared of them, but I ain't. I love them. They did a great job. A great job. Let me bring some more of you in. I'm bringing the occult world to you, everybody. If you don't understand it, ain't our fault. Because the whole world is based off symbology. Look at Captain Kirk's shirt. It's the 3 stars of Orion. That's in your Bible. Your Bible is a planetary book written by aliens. I know you don't want to believe that. Because the Nephilims wrote it. The Watchers. That's why they took a bunch of books out. So you would not put it together. And if you don't go beyond, that's why the internet is the holy grail. That's why it said knowledge will go to and fro on the earth. When you do to and fro, that is the 4 corners. That's why this is called the dry bones. Go look up the allegory. We ain't playing this morning. I got so much information for y'all. The brother mentioned about food. Food. I'll tell everybody this: you are not. None of us are safe. If you look at all sci-fi, including Lost in Space, notice they were looking for how to live. Remember, they was scientists. They were trying to build intergalactic federation with other planets. Now, who sent them out is the question. It's supposed to be NASA. NASA is German. German is the controlling factor of all disease mechanisms. I'm not saying it. Their name told me this. Germ is the first part of their name. 4. Germ. Man. They control the CDC in Georgia. 3 the Hard Way was the best sci-fi film I ever seen in my life.
Put it in the water.
3 the Hard Way was the best movie. Give thanks to Jim Brown, Jim Kelly, and Fred Williamson. They had the guts to show you. And you played it like all the shit. Let me go to 8554. Let's talk.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Hey, what's interesting, like with this new Star Trek series as far as the movie, the guy that plays Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, he also plays the daddy in this Walt Disney film called Wrinkle in Time, which, by the way, his daughter's supposed to be black, which I thought it was interesting. This is just me now, but I'm thinking that they're pushing. Hollywood is purposely pushing this interracial paradigm, you know. But like I said, we go back and do our research. That's a construct. That's a product of the Tavistock Institute. You know, they're a major brainwashing apparatus. They're connected with the University of Chicago, Stanford, UC Berkeley. I mean, AT&T, all types of different corporations, which I thought was interesting. And now the guy that plays Mr. Spock in the new series, I forgot his name, but he's also a homosexual in real life, which I thought was interesting. And then like the sister that plays Lieutenant Uhura, I think she's the same sister that plays Gamora in the Guardians of Galaxy series, which is they're going to be featured in this next Infinity Wars movie by Marvel again, a.k.a. Walt Disney, that's coming up next month, and which I thought was interesting, that piece. Now, originally, the movie was supposed to be released in May, but they actually pushed the movie up, which is now coming back in April, because I think they want to ride off the momentum from Black Panther. Because, you know, I think as of yesterday, they're saying now Black Panther is now the greatest superhero movie of all time, which I don't think is an accident.
Well, it's not by accident. Bro, the advertisement of this, Lexus, everything that they put in that movie was awesome. And again, it's a movie for those who are in the cart who can see. That's why your eyes, let's say all knowledge comes to your eyes. Why do you think everything is your eye? The eyes see an eye. When your eyes go bad, they can look at all your health problems through your eyes. And that's why you know doctors are full of shit. Because they can look at your eyes and see all your health problems, and why are they looking in your eyes? Now, they look and say, oh, take high blood pressure pills. But you know what? With the New Frontier, Star Trek, but then would say the New Frontier. And let's give homage. We got to give homage to Rod Sterling, y'all. Twilight Zone, that man, to this day, if you watch his Twilight Zone on MeTV, just watch today, you would say everything we talking about is right. He said it way before we saying it. He put it in a movie. Everything we talk about, everybody can say he said it. People that went along with everything. Matter of fact, I remember the one they just said with the two old couple wanted to take their bodies and go into these young couples' bodies through this extension of life. Ain't that what they promote now? Extension of life. They're going to put brain chips in your memory. Take your memory out and put your memory in a new avatar. Go online and look up Avatar, everybody, and do the research. Don't just go online. You got to do the research. The line is the Holy Grail. It takes you like pussy. Takes you right where you need to go. And boom. Now let's talk about sex now, because see, y'all want to act like sex ain't the Holy Grail either. That's what killing me. Everything is based off sex. Sci-Fi is sex. That's why Captain Kirk had to fuck everybody in the universe. Oh yeah. You don't think they knew that? They said we gotta have our seed in the universe. So he done fucked every galactic being in the universe. Ain't that something? But I brought you back in. Ain't that something? Kirk done fuck green people. He done fuck Klingons.
He was even used himself. He was a male Barbarella, you know.
Yeah,
he was a male Barbarella.
Right, he Barbarella. Yeah, I remember Barbarella. You talking about the pretty blonde? Yes. Her and Jim Brown had some movies together. I know you're talking about. Oh my God, I can see her face right now. Go ahead.
Jane Fonda.
Jane Fonda. There you go.
Yeah. The brother said something about the girl from Star Trek. She's not the same girl in, I forgot what the other movie he was saying, Avatar. That's Zoe Saldana. The girl from Star Trek, the new Discovery, is the black girl that used to be in Walking Dead. And she was she was also in The Butler with Lee Daniels and Oprah Winfrey. She played a member of the Black Panthers. And now they have that iconic picture of her in an afro. That's her. But that's not Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana is Dominican. And she's been in a couple other movies, but that's who plays Uhura in Star Trek, and she also plays in Avatar.
And a lot of the movies, but let's be honest, even in the movie, The Walking Dead, the original Walking Dead, the brother led them through the whole thing, only to get shot at the end. And I thought that Frank Romero did an excellent job of that, because they had it right. The zombie. That's where The Walking Dead comes from. Everybody, don't get it twisted. Everything is coming from something else. Walking Dead is Frank Romero and The Walking Dead. It just you got to give credit where credit is due. And I know a lot of y'all so-called Afrocentric can't stand to have a white person where you got the thought pattern from. But most of your thought patterns are coming from white people. You heard L. Ron Hubbard. He said the Negro in America. Hope y'all hear the Farrakhan. Listen to me, Farrakhan. This is, everybody understand it. He said the Negro in America is different from over there. He said they closely because they more indigenous and white people through sex. That's the only way you can be. See, sex is the key component to the technology game. Yeah, I hope y'all understand it. That's why robot sex is going to be the number one. Go to your stock market, everybody who like to. I will show you, besides silver and gold and platinum, and go to stock. Tech stock is the number one stock going on, everybody. And if you don't understand that, I can't explain it right here. There's a little bit of time, but we going with this call. You heard the man said a scientific date. It's called on Wall Street a technocracy. It's called technocracy. Tech with a crocracy, like democracy, technocracy. Look it up. This is where you are at. Regardless of what your mindset may tell you, you are no longer a Democrat or a Republican. You are a technocrat. Because you will kill over your 5G to soon be 5G cell phone, which is in all of the sci-fi movies. What do you think, Darth Vader? Even Black Panther, for them to do holographic technology out their hand is 5G technology. That means they're going to bring holographic instruments to you soon. And you're going to love it because the Black Panther movie told you to.
Right.
Yeah, see, that's how these magicians think. They don't care about color. Magic is black and white, everybody. Just like chess. Checkerboard. They don't care about they don't care about what you think a color is. They made the word color up in the 17th century. That's why Django movie had to come out with the German guy who made up colorism. His name is Bloomingbeck. Go look him up. Bloomingbeck and his scientist, who is where you get your so-called Darwin theory from. He's part of the Fabian Masonic Society of Europe. Go look it up. This is a fact. You won't find me wrong. You won't ever be able to find me wrong. That's a problem with people because they think, oh, wow, he thinks I only talk about what I know. You don't hear me talking about cars because I don't know how to fix cars. You don't hear me talking about how to fix houses, but you don't hear me talking about nothing but what I know. Music, don't I know music? Can play the hell out of them. Get paid to play. Everybody know me. I get paid to play the drum. I can talk about that. I ain't gonna talk about what I don't know. That's why I got this man about movies. Tell me how Hollywood, man. Think about it, Brother Jeff. If Hollywood came to you today,
right?
Which movie would you give me?
Well, it depends on who from Hollywood will call me. But
don't worry about that. I mean, which movie would you want to see right now? Your movie, out of all what you have done, all your work, which movie would you want to see on the screen?
I tell you, it's like answering the question, which is your favorite child? I might say Harlem Shake.
I know you want all of them, but you know Hollywood don't work with all of them, man. You know that.
Oh my God. I mean, I like Gold Digger Killer's message because it's a message to us, but it's the least sci-fi of all of my stories. I like Harlem Shake. I like Rashida the Zombie Killer. I like
Harlem Shake. Now let's hold on. Go back to Harlem Shake. Because Harlem Shake ain't. My daughter just came from Harlem visiting their aunt. Bro, Harlem is gentrified like a mug. Well, I mean, it has shake. It has shaken out of blackness.
I mean, I don't know how my family still lives there. And haven't gotten their rent increased to the point where they can't live there anymore. I have a cousin that's paying hundreds of dollars a month. The investment companies, they bought a school and remade all the classrooms apartments, and the apartment loft are going for $4,000 a month. It's ridiculous. I go to the block my family grew up in, and they're over $25,000 to $3,000 a month apartment. I mean, it is what it is. If you don't own the place, people will can change it under your feet, and they can change it.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point. And this is that's right. And I tell you, I've seen it. I mean, I'm in all areas. I've been to quite a few cities, and all you who called me from across the 10 regions, y'all see it too. Y'all said Obama. Because we're going to talk politics, because we're going to go into politics. Politics is sci-fi, everybody. You're dealing with aliens. They are not real. Politics means lice. The word poly is a lice. It means it ticks on and sucks your energy. Now let me. That's called Alien. That's why the movie Alien was so deep. Ripley Scott loved that movie, and she's a female too. Everybody. That's why the so-called Me Too movement about the alien, the female alien. I'm gonna do a show soon, but let me promote next week, everybody. April Fools is Easter. April Fools. I got Patah Seeger out of Boston with the calendar. You know, I got his calendar. We promote his calendar. April Fools is where the Pope and them changed the calendar and said all who believe is a fool. Will join us next week. We will have, if you missed that program, you will be sorry. But you can also repod it. So go on there, WW Dry Bones Connection. Just listen to the old show. If you think I'm lying about these programs and who we had on our shows, go look up our archives. They will be, when I die, they will be considered one of the most prolific writings of giving the facts in that period of time. And just make sure you understand where I'm coming from, because y'all not getting the mysteries. Dry Bones, the book of Ezekiel, Kiel, the Book of the Elements. Y'all better wake up. We about to get deep. Y'all ready for some more? Y'all hanging with us? We at the 12:20 mark. We will keep this program going. I'm bringing my man, film director, writer. I mean, let me just say this. It's a blessing to have him on the show because me and him probably didn't think it was going to happen, but it happened. See how technology works? And I hope y'all are going to his Facebook page, support, because, see, that's the problem with us, y'all. I'm going to say this. See how y'all gave so much money to Hollywood? Now, I will give this. We're going to go into the next step. You know, we like to heat it up. The Helios means Book of the Sun. So when we talk, it gets hotter on every hour. Yeah, I told you. Netflix is under attack. Not really under attack, but, you know, they being, you know, able to promote who they want. You got Monique going after them and all this sort of stuff. So, but let me just say this. If you don't give your billion, trillion dollar power that you have in buying so-called black people of America and say, look, these independents, this new technology is able to create independent people like Brother Jeff. Now, Brother Jeff will have a great time knowing if he had a budget that was close to $1 million. You know what I mean? You know how good that movie would be just to see his concepts and be able to see money right now. Now, you're going to put your energy into the money, which is what you've been putting into. It means you're a capitalist. Y'all must come to grips in the 2018 election. Are you capitalist? Because if you're not capitalist, then you either a capitalist, and I'm going to give you opportunity to tell us what you are. Because I don't know. Are you a socialist, a technocrat, a oligarch? No, you ain't an oligarch because your ass ain't got no oligarch money. You ain't a monarch because you ain't got monarch money unless you're in Africa or Asia or parts of the other part of the world. You might be a monarch then. But are you a monarch here? And I believe the most terrifying sci-fi in America is going to be told. Remember Escape from New York? That was a good sci-fi there. Y'all thought it was a joke. Now you're hearing about a wall. But the wall ain't what you think. It's technology. The wall of technology can keep you out of anything. You think Will Smith made that movie Enemy of the States for nothing? With Gene Hackman? A nobody with Gene Hackman? Now he is somebody because he sat with the elite. Once you sit with the elite at that level, let's be honest, are we all ready for that? We can talk about it. See, I've been around the elite because I know. Y'all who know me, we was with the elite. And unfortunately, the elite can get taken out at any time if you ain't able to create energy to fight back. Everything energy. That's why the force field, you thought in Star Trek and in Lost in Space, they say, put the force field. You thought it was a joke. No, it ain't a joke. Go look up force field technology. Bro, let me talk about Black Panther. You see that force field they had when the brothers put their capes up?
Yes, that was good.
You don't think now with all the archaeology in the world, and you've been to a few parts of the world because remember you showed me some pictures. You don't think they found something that, I mean, just because they let you see something, you think they're gonna let you see everything?
Right.
That they digged up with big money? What do you think they might have found?
A whole lot of stuff. I'm waiting to go into the civilization in South Africa, you know, with the giant people. Now, in Marvel, they're getting ready to introduce this character, Thanos, who's larger than other people. And then they also have this other character they got to reimagine called Galactus. And Galactus is supposed to be bigger than 50 foot tall. You know, he's supposed to be able to eat planets, not put them in his mouth, but lives off the energy of planets. And so those are some
now
real
that's
characters.
deep. Now let me tell you, there's a show on TV now about a black superhero. They're putting black superheroes on TV right now. I seen one by accident. Black Lightning. I love how he energized himself. Bro, this is not by accident. Because again, energy is money. most black people do not support this type of endeavor. They support some stupidity. I mean, be honest. What black folks did you know will support a meaningful movie unless they're already rich? Most people support the dumbest stuff on TV. If I put myself, me and you, let's be honest. If me and you was doing something stupid like see who can shit the most, we get 1 million hits.
Right.
But see who can talk into intellectual endeavorment, we won't get that amount of hits. Why do you think that?
Because people are attracted to some of the least common denominators out there, and sometimes the truth is too much, information is too much, it's almost an information overload for some people. And then there are other times, I always take blame myself. I always say, as a writer, if you don't get into what I'm saying, it's me, and I got to figure out how to say it differently.
How to say it right. How to bring it down.
I always blame the communicator in the one with the message, not the listener. The listener, is not their job to understand you. It's your job to make your information digestible, something that people could absorb. You're the one with the idea.
Now, let's talk about that. Now, many people have had this conversation about what you said. Okay. Notice somebody promote a lot of what these, because a lot of people don't read George Orwell that we know, but yet the video would show George Orwell symbolism of the Moloch, like Beyonce and them showing all these, and all the rappers showing all this stuff. Now, you wrote a book about hip-hop dating. Now, me and you had a debate about this. I thought it was it's a good idea, but I thought it was a very controversial idea, which controversy sells, which is, no problem with me. But let's just say this. How can you bring a book about dating to a group that likes what is seen is X-rated porn hip-hop? Because I go out there, I'm out there. A real video of Cardi B, and I'm getting hard.
Right. I'll say this. I'm from New York, New Jersey area. I went to, give you an example. If you look at this new story on Netflix called Roxanne,
I've seen that.
You see the type of hip hop that I was introduced to. Now,
all of us. Me and you come from the same area. I understand that. Me and you are from the same.
What I'm saying is, hip hop is not only like that anymore. There's elements of hip hop that are still, I need to get this off my chest. I need to pay my bills. She was motivated by money. It was different than what you see in the movie Straight Outta Compton. You saw how Ice Cube and Eazy-E, they were saying, our conditions are bad, but they were all paid. Ice Cube was making money on the street. Eazy-E was making money. He needed to learn how to make legal money, and they used it to say to speak the mind of the street, to be that voice. Roxanne Shante was not trying to be a voice of the street. Roxanne Shante was in the hip hop, and she was out trying to battle people. She was just trying to win. She wasn't trying to be Chuck D. She wasn't trying to be Ice Cube. And so the same way those two types of hip-hop variations exist, even in New York, which is the same city, you also had the South, where you don't have to wear, if you wear jeans summer in Miami, you got to work or you're sweating. You have a lot of skin. You have a lot of beaches. They have a lot of dancing. So you had the strip club element into hip-hop. And it came to us through Luke. When I was introduced to Luke, it was the same time I was introduced to stripping. And his show was like Black Mama's Review. It was like a traveling strip club.
Remember, he had a club. Remember, we used to go to the club on Miami Beach. I've been there a few times, and that was a very nice club, but I knew it had an issue because certain activities were going on that probably was going to bring in problems. But nonetheless, but we never heard, let's be honest, black folks in our history, Braville and stripping is nothing new to us. We've been doing it for years. Some of the greatest Braville acts, was taken from black people and made into what is called the El Joseph. But nonetheless,
Betty Boop,
right.
Black, Betty, what's the little character? Betty Boop. That was a black lady. But what I'm saying is, and we know this was in American history, no doubt. But hip hop did not have it in their cultural expression until
not
later.
the beginning. Right. The beginning was about partying, having fun. But hold on, now there still was some like Nacanelli. Remember Nacanelli?
Right.
Put it in your mouth. I mean, that's out of New York. I mean, I could name a bunch of them that I should love.
Oh yes, and not like I said, we had both Roxanne Shante and Chuck
that's just
D
one.
and Akinelli in New York. But
in New York, of course.
Right. Just like you have variations of hip hop now, there are no one type of hip hop. So the hip hop that I come from, right? The hip hop
from New York. My passport say New York State. I got family from New York all the way to Buffalo. People from New York moved to Buffalo to get a better job because we was industrial. Our section of New York was where the jobs were at. Most black folks in New York City was service-oriented jobs and hotel where you can get a job at the automotive plant, all the Bethlehem Steel. So a different group of New Yorkers came, but the concept of rap music all came out of New York State. A lot of it came out of New York. We had some of the greatest musicians in that state. There's no doubt about that. We ain't going to debate that. But the problem I'm trying to figure out is rap music. Rap music today. Let's get today. How does rap music today, with the misogynist overtones, it supersedes
all of those elements.
It supersedes old school.
You're dealing with radio rap. Listen. You're dealing with radio rap, which is dominated by sexual expression. But the Chuck D expression still exists. The Roxanne Shante expression, it still exists. If you go to Team Backpack, Google Team Backpack, they're nothing but battle rappers. And they are global. They're all over the world. You have the breakdance culture. They're not sexualized. That is global. That's bigger than Cardi B. This sexual expression that's dominating American records, radio.
Well, I'm not just Cardi B. I'm just Cardi B. Hold on, let's not be fair. I'm using Cardi B, but you had Little Kim, and you got it's a slew of rappers that we can go down the line.
Not. Okay, but listen to what I'm saying. Saying that they're not hip hop. I'm saying that that's one expression. But when I was in hip hop, we had breakdancing, we had graffiti, we had a variety, we had battle rap. Those things still exist, but they've been taken out.
Your boy Nick Cannon, right? Nick Cannon got a show on whatever show it is. I see him a few times where they battle.
Right.
Battling in a movie with Eminem. Battling was what we all did when we first got into rap. The Sugar Hill Gang, all them. Everybody wanted to battle each other. We remember that great, and we were not trying to fight each other and kill each other. We would like rib on each other. We would use our ribbing. Yeah. Now today, I know they do. I know they do. But look, we only had some killing.
So you have to accept that as still a manifest. If you look at where Eminem came from, and Eminem is only 10, 12 years old in hip hop. He came from battle rap culture. There's an organization called AC3. They meet every year in Atlanta. Don't allow radio definition to be the only definition of hip hop.
I agree.
We've always had Little Kim. We've always had Akinelli. You understand what I'm saying? But
you had Lady Saw in Jamaica, Lady Saw, Coca. I mean, you had some. Lady Saw was outrageous with the sex, but I'm saying sex in dance hall music. When I play drums,
right?
I watch the people. Carnival. If you go to anybody been to Carnival, it's a sexual orgy of music.
And
so
that's
sex seems to be part of this whole call. Because to me, music and sex go together. That's just how the occult world works. Music and sex go together. I mean, what's your opinion on that? Because I mean, some of the occult music is actually sexual music to create that atmosphere in your mind for sex, because your mind loves harmonics, and music is harmonics. It could be done in gospel, which is more of a different harmonic, but rap music has a different. Any rap music you play in E. The bass lines are heavy.
Right.
The drum lines are very heavy now, and it creates a psychotic trance. And if you're under drugs or any type of concept of enlightenment, you will fall into what them words are saying. And that's why a lot of the strip clubs now in Miami are packed with women now. I mean, I think it's a great thing if you want to see. I mean, who wants to see a bunch of men? But if you want to go to a strip club now in Miami, you can go see a bunch of women inside there. So you should be glad to go there now. But I'm saying hip hop music. How can you tell a hip hopper and young kids? I just watched I went to an event recently, and young kids know all the lyrics of Cardi B. I mean the uncut ones. How do we divide what's good hip hop and what you were promoting was actually your era, my era? That era is there, but these kids is techno crap. They not in our era no more. Our era has changed for them. They're not even close to our era. Their era is totally techno.
Like you said, do the research. I'll give you two things that are going on right now that's not Cardi B, that's young people. One is Team Backpack. That's battle rap culture. That's global.
There you go.
That's bigger than Cardi B. And then the other one is AC3. It's a conference that takes place in Atlanta every year. It's been going on for about 6-7 years now. That is clean. That is clean hip hop culture. It's songs and it's battling. You have the National DMC DJ International DJ competition, and then you have the breakdance competition. All those are bigger than just America, and they're not strip club culture. But we do see those expressions still in hip hop. So hip hop again is not any one thing. It is all of those things.
I know it's all of them. I agree, but the money making. I'm gonna say this: the money making. Because I got what you're saying is not. You're not saying nothing that's not true. It's just that the money, the energy that is spent into this is at a different level. If I do a research paper tomorrow, all y'all listeners to my crew out there, do the percentage for me, and I will have it for next week. How much money spent on this rap game, and we'll see a big difference in who really is buying it. Let me go to 9857. Welcome to have you on the Helios. We got more callers. Y'all jumping in hard. 98 new callers. 9857. You on
what's the number? What's the number?
Hey, what's happening, brother?
What's up, brother?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I hear you good, man. Hey, I love them homes, man.
Yeah.
We'll talk off air about them homes. Beautiful. Go ahead.
Oh, definitely appreciate the brother when you brought to the table. I just want to ask him a question now. Being that there are symbologies that are always hidden in these movies, do many of you guys know that there was a movie called Annihilation released at the same time, just after the Black Panther movie or phenomenon? But if you go watch that movie, there's some very disturbing subliminal messages in that movie. Definitely go check it out. I think it's very subliminal, and it's definitely sparking an attack, especially against the melanation people, in the sense of the extraterrestrial attachment to it. But if you go watch that movie, I recommend your audience go watch this movie. While everybody was pretty much distracted by the Black Panther phenomenon, there was a movie released called Annihilation. In the movie, there's some quite interesting subliminal message being released. There's a brother that comes on here with numerology. He will definitely talk about the number 8 that's released in the movie. It's an all-female driven movie. in the sense of the main characters. Also, there's an interracial scene between the main character, which is a white female, and a black male. And there's an interesting dialogue between that white female and the black male where she exalts her hatred for him. And also, in the movie itself, when they're questioning about the origins of the extraterrestrial, they ask the I'm not going to give it all away as far as being a spoiler.
Yeah, don't give it all away. Yeah.
Watch it.
Yeah, make us go watch.
They ask if the extraterrestrial is.
Go ahead.
They ask if the extraterrestrial is carbon-based, which we know is attached to the melanin of the cosmos. Definitely go check that movie out. It's called Annihilation. It's geared towards a specific audience, which we know is a white audience. Definitely go check it out. It was released around just after the Black Panther movie. But the question to your guest is that, does he really pay close attention to the hidden messages or elements and subliminal messages that are delivered through some of these movies, and are they specifically targeted a certain type of people? I mean, again, we have evidence of now how the unification of a black or African type based mindset can really unite globally in the expression of what the Black Panther kind of reveal, but also can that energy be used or as an antagonist towards something much more greater and cynical? I'll take the answer right there.
Yeah. Hey, look forward to hearing from me. Me and you would talk off here about that, what we talked about. What's your thought about them using these movies to bring out their realities?
You ready? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Hello?
I brought you back.
Okay,
Yeah, I
cool. brought
you back in. Don't worry.
I like the way he started with his question. I like his answer. Shout out to the brother. Thank you. I you know what I should do is some of these people that call, I should give them a book of mine that relates to their question. I would tell the brother to check out my book, The Harlem Shake. I have characters in there that deal with that. And I think my probably my most ambitious would still be Welcome to Boss Lady's Planet, although I have some of it in my short story collection. Answer his question. I guess to say yes, of course, I do pay attention to everything that I can pick up on in each book. A friend of mine, another sci-fi writer in South Florida, Keith Wade, we always discuss the gems, the hidden gems in each story. I always say I like to be like L. Ron Hubbard, write fiction so well that people believe it's fact or are impacting the way people behave. I feel like a coder. You ever seen the movie Matrix? You saw the people that were able to read the code of the Matrix. I like to actually create my own environment. Remember the environment that Morpheus was fighting in the dojo studio in the Matrix movie? That was an environment that they created to train anybody that came in, particularly Neo at this time, but they had used it previous. And the Neos would still, or whoever they were bringing in there, still know, they would not know that this was a created world. In fact, the whole Matrix itself was created. I'll direct your questioner, the last brother who asked the question. I'm going to start writing these names down. But the last brother who asked the question, to this new movie coming out called Ready Player One. Almost like the movie Tron, they deal with a cybernetic world that you can plug yourself into. Well, I like to be somebody that creates the world. In sci-fi writers, we call that world building. So I like to create the world, and I like to put the scenarios and the stories that play into the world. Now, how do they relate to real things that are factual? I love to drop some gems. I love to put some factual things in there, some things that I discover. How do we know about it? I mean, sure, the things that you're quoting, Brother D, Dorian, researchable. But sometimes people don't get turned on by a non-fiction book, some big, thick book on, the Dogon people. Maybe they don't want to read that. So maybe they will get turned on to the Dogon people if we say that Spock and them recreate the Dogon people, his Vulcans, to find Kirk.
That's right.
So that whole story is fake, the story about Spock, but you draw so much similarities and parallels to real world things that people get connected to it and it rolls with them. So
those people, right? Well, now remember those writers. Let's not take nothing from them. Gene Roddenberry and all them. Spock is not a made up character. He's a manifestation of something that was of ancient attributes.
Right.
And so because they knew the attributes of the ancients, it was easy to write them into fictional characters. It's called anthropomorphic, everybody. When you take a character and make him something, it's called anthropomorphic. That means that he's out of something that you made to be human. It could be a planet, like Saturn. Because remember, he comes from the planet Vulcan, which is Venus. That's why he had logic. Okay, so we are able to see now what Gene Roddenberry was writing about, Twilight Zone, even Alfred Hitchcock, everybody. Because these are the shows that we grew up on at nighttime that would come on at 11:30. And it would call Sci-Fi Friday. It'd be Twilight Zone. And then you would have Alfred Hitchcock. And you would not realize it until you get older. Say, that shit is deep. Now, I want to ask you, and many of you out there who are keeping it, we're going to go all the way to the time frame. They're going to give us, yesterday, last week, everybody, we was talking so deep. Y'all better check that show out. They cut that show off at 12:09. They made sure what we was talking about last week. Remember we were talking about last week, y'all? America was called New Jerusalem. Put the middle as USA. This is the new world. Now, I got a clip. All you going to stay on. From the master. The movies behind Independence Day. The movies behind the War of the Worlds. H.G. Wells. Who was of the Fabian Society. I get the best. See, I don't play with people. I don't have time to play. I put on the real people. The people who said it. This is H.G. Wells said that they were going to create a new world order, the most prolific sci-fi writer or sci-fi writer of our times.
I have tried to prepare you for what I am going to say by a synopsis. It may be well to recall that synopsis and explain that I am an extreme revolutionary who considers the doctrines of the Communist Party, as you get them, for example, in the Daily Worker.
That's the second person who said, remember Ron L. Hubbard said communist, and H.G. Wells has said communist. Listen carefully.
All is here now. The question is whether our species, we, our children, and our children's children, can adapt ourselves and conquer the new world, or whether we're going to spin down this vortex to extinction. Extinction, which has been the fate of all the mighty races of animals that have lorded it over the world in the past. What briefly is this new world, this new state of affairs that confronts mankind? It has a threefold aspect. First, there is what is called the abolition of distance. Things have become simultaneous throughout the world. 30 years ago, to think of one super government throughout the world was an impossible dream. Now it is an imperative necessity. Next comes the enormous increase of available power, which at present is used mainly for destruction. All this mechanical power, wind power, horsepower, water power, all used in the England of Queen Elizabeth for a week would not equal that release in a moment by one 8,000-pound bomb. Thirdly comes the fact that the unskilled work of slaves and such like toilers can be and is being largely superseded by power-driven mechanisms. The old social pyramid has vanished. Mankind has no further use for serfs and slaves. The new world ahead must be, therefore, an equalitarian society. These are not views, I say, but manifest facts. For 10 or 12,000 years, not more, since men took to agriculture and organized warfare, there has been no real human community. There has been a world of masters and men, what the Israelis called the two nations. Now, for these three reasons I have stated, there is no choice before mankind but a worldwide control of power and production, worldwide, no less, and a worldwide scrapping of our inheritance of hate and aggression that began less than 1,000 generations ago when war began. We have to nerve ourselves to that, and there is no other way for it. Even if you decided to avoid having children and got into some safe corner and ate and drank and to eat and drink and be merry, for tomorrow you die, you might have difficulty in finding that safe corner and getting the stuff and the merriment. Need I enlarge on that today? Obviously, this world control must be something over and above the patchwork of governments we inherit. They arose from militant necessity. They remain militant and competitive. But plainly, it is the common sense of the world situation that over and above these old divisions, a group of commissions to rehabilitate our disordered world should be established as soon as possible by the victors in the present struggle. To these commissions, all the governments of the world must surrender their sovereign right to practice economic and political aggression against one another. That has been done already in the United States of America, within the USSR, and in Great Britain, in some but not all of the dominions, which have replaced the old British Empire, where people of the most varied creeds, cultures, and languages live in free and open cooperation. It has to be done, and done still more completely now throughout the whole world. I believe it.
I'm let that go. Y'all can understand that man is talking about the new world order. Before Bush even said it. H.G. Wells, War of the Worlds, Independence Day, Will Smith and Vivica Fox stars played in his movie. Show you how powerful sci-fi writers are. So I appreciate the fact that I have to you a new generation of sci-fi writers, and his name is Jeff Carroll. What's your thoughts on that, brother H.G. Wells saying out of it?
I think that is pure logical speculation coming from their history. These are Europeans, and that's what they think. But I don't think that would be something that the Native Americans would have speculated on, because they had a harmonious interrelation of tribes.
You think? So no, hold on. Oh, no tribes ever fought each other? Are you saying? Let me make sure. Are you saying that no tribes ever fought each other?
I don't think conflict is bad. I think
okay. I just want to make sure you say. Okay, you say that they never fought. Okay, go ahead.
No. I think we have a different definition of what conflict is. I think conflict is fine. It depends on how long it goes and how do you resolve conflict. That becomes the judgment on your people. Now, when we look in European history, I don't think their resolution is the same as what we see in Native Americans. Sometimes they still harbor negative feelings towards each other that never go away. When you look at the TV show, Game of Thrones, they're never not conflicting.
But you hold on. Game of Thrones is not an actual portrayal of what you are. I've said this, and I will continue to say it with facts. If Spain is only 10 nautical miles from the continent of Africa, and if you think Africans who had ships who controlled the Mediterranean and not go into these areas and have sex with white women, then our history teachers should be taken out right now and just put away, because that is a fallacy. Our people were already in Europe, and kings. Matter of fact, Martin Lawrence did a show, everybody, a comedy. Comedy is actually sci-fi too, if you look at it in the word. Comedy, he played the Black Knight. Our dumb people think it's just one night. It's a ton of nights. You don't send one night out to battle. You send a regiment, if you know real history. So that means regiments of Black Knights went into Europe, and you telling me they didn't screw white women?
Okay, well, what's your point? What's that?
I'm saying that means that there was a mulatto base, like all our teachers have taught. Dr. Ben, Dr. Clark said that is the most fair history to talk against, is that history between Morocco and Spain and Sudan, where all these black men went and impregnated all these white women, and we act like that's some new shit today. How is that new when we've been doing it for thousands of years?
Well, I think, we look at the Kim Kardashians of the world from the Mediterranean. First of all, Rome was not racially segregated. It was a mixed culture in the first place.
Exactly. So, bunch of blacks.
So, right. So it was there was a movie where Sidney Poitier plays a Roman emperor.
Exactly.
So again, it still is something different when you talk about what came from the north, as far as Russia, Germany. Their expression of humanity is different than what you see in Rome, what you see in other parts of the world. So when you talk about what H.G. Wells just said, he's coming from a very German, very northern Russian, very Viking expression in terms of.
But blacks are Vikings.
Human government.
I looked it up. I had Dr. Himhotep on here. I have many people on my program, and they tell me we everywhere. So I'm trying to figure, okay, if we everywhere,
right?
Then if the Vikings said they were, I mean, some black Vikings were with them. How do we differentiate? Let me ask you a question: is Afrocentrism paid for by the Carnegie Foundation?
Okay.
What a matchup! And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.
What a matchup! And what a team, Mike. Metro PCS and the iPhone SE for $0 on a network that covers 99% of people in the U.S. Oh, impressive.
Play with the best. Switch to Metro PCS on an unlimited LTE plan and get a 32-gig iPhone SE for $0. Metro PCS. Coverage not available in some areas, plus sales tax. Claim based on talk and text. Not valid for active numbers currently on the T-Mobile network or active on Metro PCS in the past 90 days. See store for details and terms and conditions.